Welcome to the Hard Yarns podcast. We have got the prophetic, the wisdom, the chosen one, the poet, Andrew Wolfe today.
Oh, you talked it up, man.
Dropping some knowledge bombs.
No, fucking very
I
good
shouldn't
episode.
have come on.
Why not?
I'm in a bad mental state at the moment.
Well,
And
fuck.
you've captured it on record.
I think we helped a bit.
I think we captured a very insightful
Yeah.
D&M
We'll have to
from
see,
Wolfie,
dude.
which I've
I
never.
think
I
it was
haven't
very
The
good.
audience will be the judge of that.
Yeah.
They'll probably think it's three white morons. Pale, white,
Three
stale
white men
male.
instead of three wise men.
That's good.
Fuck, that's another fringe show right there.
This episode is brought to you by alltradescover.com.au. As you can see behind our great man.
Yeah, I
Wolfie there.
visited the offices of Elliott Insurance on
Oh,
Saturday.
he's got new ones, hey?
Yeah, in the city. Very nice. And
Good.
If you've got a small business or you're a sole trader, hit them up. They're going to look after you and all your
Good
insurance
dude,
needs.
dude. He's as sharp as a tack.
Yeah,
mate,
he's going to be good at stand-up as well, I think.
Yeah, he's got the
Is he
got
going to
the
do
charisma.
stand-up?
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to fucking blow up.
This episode is also brought to you by Vibe Culture. Vibe Culture there is a supplement that has all your essential vitamins and minerals. It's got some amino acids, electrolytes. It's good pick-me-up for hangovers.
Flavor's called Tropical Punch. It's really good. So, yeah, it's especially boys that are having a drink if you're a divorced dad and having a bevy
Yeah,
in
you'd
the
be
morning.
drinking a lot. That's the way to become an instant millionaire. It's an Iron Bears. Problems go and suddenly you're up.
Shout out to Vibe Culture. And Kahuna Golf, I've been playing a bit more. My
Fuck
New Year's
yeah.
resolution.
Couple lessons?
Yeah, I've done some lessons. I'll be playing tomorrow.
Wearing the gear.
And then playing Thursday. Wearing the stuff, and I'm tagging the product actually as well.
Shit, dude. Maybe you should not wear the gear until you get a swing up.
The algorithm's crazy. I go tag products and it picks up my
Yeah.
hat and it picks up the shirt. Like, that's scary,
Start
bro.
sending it,
That's
yeah.
like that
Yeah,
Eagle
this
Eye
is-
movie where it's like bang. But if you want it, just go to my Insta or go to Hard Yarns and you get a discount. Hard Yarns 15 is the code from Kahuna Golf.
15% off. You'll,
And
looks
a quick
good.
shout out
Feel
to
good.
Raunchy and check out Sir Henry's in
15,
Northbridge.
is it 15% off? You're
Yeah.
more like 45% off. right into the bushes. Hey,
I know you
Legitimately.
jest, but I thought it was a very good episode,
Awesome, man.
Wolfie.
I will see.
Very insightful, very funny. Do you remember what we
populace will
talked
be
about?
The judge of it.
What did
We
we-
rambled.
Yeah, we
Really?
did. We rambled.
We rambled over almost everything.
Comedy. in general.
Comedy, conspiracy.
Divorce.
Divorces.
I think
Oh,
a lot more philosophy than normal.
Well,
Yeah.
you had a very good rant on like the taxation of oil and
Yeah,
and
maybe
the
it wasn't
resource
valid.
industry.
Bit of cancel culture stuff, but it's really good, really deep, and you're going to get a lot out of this one.
Fuck yeah!
Hope so.
Yeah.
I'll be back on Tuesday. But,
Enjoy your trip, dude.
Yeah, bro.
This should be good. But anyway,
Everyone else enjoy this trip. It's great. Let's get hard.
let's get hard.
Welcome to Hard Yarns Podcast.
I am fucking fat.
Anything Chris White says, please disregard it.
5D is actually a state of being. It's a unity consciousness.
That was Hard Yarns with me, Frankie Rose. So I'm going to throw it over to your co-host.
Daniel Delby.
And Cameron Branch.
I would do this and then I'd gong.
Free in attendance for the millions listening at home. Let's get hard.
Yeah, we could do that.
Are we on?
Because it's a Friday.
yeah, we'll start.
Because it's a Friday night. It's like it probably interrupts our business.
Yeah,
We could do a Thursday night, but I mean, what's better for divorced dads? Friday nights, right?
Well, it depends if they got their kids.
Yeah.
The
When
kids
wouldn't
that
they
can't
have
do
their
it.
kids on a Thursday most?
Well, some of them never see their kids again. And they're like, why is he screaming from a bridge? And he's like, well, do you know how bad it is?
I think a weeknight's probably your best bet. Delby.
Okay.
How distressing is it, though, when they see someone's mental health erode, but you take all their money and everything they love, and then they go, he's melted down. I told you he was a psychopath. And I'm like, he hasn't seen his daughter in 6 years, and he's now on Centrelink. Do you know what I mean? And he was quite a successful architect.
So
You
one
see
of
him on a bridge, screeching at traffic.
One of the things that became apparent to me the other day, and it goes the other way as well. Like if the husband was with someone, I've been by myself the whole divorce.
Yeah.
And she's had a partner the whole time. So she's always had, when she's gone through the ups and downs, she's had someone to maybe rely
support
on and
them,
support. And I've had to do it by myself. And I'm sure it works the other way, like when it's the other direction. I'm not saying it's a man and a woman thing. but yeah. fuck, it's actually quite important, I reckon, to do it by yourself.
Oh, 100%. You know why? Because otherwise you're leaning on someone else and you don't learn the lesson.
I'm not saying like she's going to be in a worse spot, but I know I'm so strong for it now.
Oh, dude, often
Because you rely on yourself.
Yeah,
it's that same vibe where you're like, oh, please, can I come stay with you for the weekend? I'm like, no, it's actually better to walk through the desert and come to know thyself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying we've actually been given a great gift.
You've got your own emotional support.
I've actually learned, I think you move up the planes of being a human being.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've almost freed myself of, I was telling everyone I want to move beyond base desires. Do you know what I mean? Like sex.
You want to cut your dick off last
And then
night.
I was saying I want to be like Dalai Lama, and Corey was like, "What? You want to kiss kids?" I said I want to go
That's
towards
Daddy Lama.
I said I want to go to more like Gandhi. Do you know the people that try to free yourself of your base cravings?
Yeah, Gandhi was a sex pest too, though.
Yeah, they're all sex based, but you know what I mean? Like, you know, when you like, your instinct is like, I need to find someone.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
or
but-
no, actually, what you need to do is heal and grow and become full, and
Yeah.
you'll have to complete yourself.
Yeah.
but then
Fuck,
also,
that's very, very prophetic, bro.
But
Clip
it's-
that.
Yeah, 100%.
but also,
very good.
no, but also you have this desire and there's a selfishness to it, because like the reason I wouldn't attach with some is I've got a lot of baggage, emotional baggage, and it's not right of me to bring someone down into my pain and trauma until I've fixed it. I only want to invite someone into the house when it's
clean.
all clean.
Yeah, that's the whole
Do you know what I mean? Not when it's
cup's
chaos.
full sort of idea. But also, I agree. I totally agree, because I'm the same. I was like, fuck, actually, I'm not in the right place to do this. And
You don't
then
need it, do you?
I thought, is there a chance that some people want to grow together? And like,
Bruh.
do you want to bring someone? I know, you don't want to put your baggage onto people, but is it nice to go, hey, they didn't just fall in love with the complete
best
person.
part.
They
Yeah,
fell in love with me
100%.
when I was at my lowest, and they
help-
stuck with
They
me.
can help heal you.
Yeah.
But then the thing is, there's like,
I don't know.
Depends on- it
I don't know
depends
what's
on
right.
there's all these new options. Like there's
Attachment type.
Pornhub, there's prostitutes. Do you know what people say? And there's eventually going to be sex robots.
Yeah.
And then I said, what's the guy's dream sex robot? It's basically just a vacuum with a face drawn on it. You don't really want the personality. You need Henry the vacuum is actually...
Or Harriet.
Yeah, Harry already
Harriet.
exists. A sex robot already exists. All you want is that pipe sucking. You don't actually want to have the personality.
So what we've just heard is
No,
the
I'm
intro.
joking. We're playing around here.
What we've just heard is the intro to Divorce Dad's pod.
Yes.
So me and Wolfie are going to launch a new
Oh,
pod.
that'd be good, dude. We're
Called
bringing
Divorce
in
Dads?
divorce people.
Divorce
and we
dads.
both talk over them for an hour. Just like the ex-wife used to do.
Watch this space for Divorce Dads.
Won't
in
that be
the next
funny,
pod.
dude?
I think it's a winner, man.
I definitely
divorce
think it is.
dads, like, because you get all the divorce niches work.
Always.
I like what we've got with it's very
Yeah,
broad in
dude.
general, but like niches will get you a fucking
Oh, man,
like
imagine,
a niche audience,
Yep.
and they'll
Pods,
love it.
live shows.
Oh, dude.
Daniel Delby, marketing genius. All the D's.
Oh, dude,
Daniel
it's
Delby,
actually
Divorce Dads.
Theme-based shows of the way for
Yeah,
everything.
I've been doing it
really.
for years.
You were onto it. Joe White knew it. All of them knew it. I was the only dumb cunt trying to...
How you
Right.
going with it all? Like you did.
Yeah, how
you
was
didn't do-
Adelaide?
you didn't do too much of a fringe, but
Oh, yeah, man, it was good. But it was just like the hustle. You think you're doing well by doing 8 shows a night, but when you come to invoice, you're like, fuck, just spinning the wheels, really. Do you know what I mean? You're better off just trying to grow an audience, have a proper show. You're in there, I'm like, I worked so hard, 9 pub crawls,
Yeah.
90 pints.
But were you doing new bits? Like, were you getting something
Yeah, I was
out
putting
of it?
new stuff
Yeah.
in there, man.
That's part of the...
But it's fucking hard, hey. Like,
I think what you're
I'm
doing
trying
is
to, I'm trying to
good.
write on stage now, and it's like, if it's going well, you can keep coming out, you can keep doing the bit. But then when the crowd's off,
but you
you
see,
wish you had written it.
But you also you have implosions.
Yeah, I do
If it
have
doesn't go well,
implosions.
you're like, "Wah."
But you know when the crowd's like, if they're laughing a lot, you actually inspires you and you come up with stuff.
Yeah.
But then when you have a rough night, you're like, fuck.
Yeah, it fucking
the
sucks.
plastic surgery bit's only one tagline. I
Yeah.
don't remember any of, all
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
You just bail every other bit.
yeah.
On Saturday, I did 5 at 5, and I had a new bit that
Yeah.
I just riffed. And because the crowd, the first bit popped, I was like, fuck yeah, full committed.
So
Yeah, that's
in.
awesome.
How
dude.
happy I was talking about. He reckons, you know that shark that nearly bit him at Mullers?
Yeah.
He goes, oh no, that's Trevor. That's harmless. I go, just because you give it a name, cunt, doesn't make it any less dangerous.
It's a good bit.
I go, you can't just call a dangerous thing in Australia a name and it's fine. Like, watch when you're walking home down the alley. Watch out for Rapey Jeff.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so
Look out
good.
for Stabby Pete. No. So
Because they used to do that in the 40s. You know, like the creepy guy would have,
Pedo Pete.
Sneaky Steve.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, get in the room one-on-one with sneaky one-eyed Steve. Or,
100%.
and you're like, that was the only warning you got? You're like, well, you shouldn't have gone down the back of the shop, should you?
Yeah, so I was cooking, man. But then, like, the next bit I did that didn't hit, I fucking lost all my confidence straight back, So I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
So that went good.
Isn't that the whole dance?
That's the whole thing about comedy, yeah. But because we want to do it on stage instead of writing it out.
Yeah.
Dude, because you know what I realized is I don't want to turn it into schoolwork. And I was like, why do you want to be a nerd? There are too many nerds doing comedy. Like, if you eventually make it to a theatre, how good is it if you've done fuck all work?
Yeah.
Do you know? And you just write on stage. How bad is it? You end up doing a theatre and you've got fucking backpack with notes in it.
Yeah.
That's fucking dork shit.
Well,
what you do is you riff it out with mates on the pints.
Yeah.
And that's your comedy, man.
Do you know
That's
what?
what I do.
At Raw, and obviously there's a few newbies going on there. One guy came up with note cards.
Yeah, that's
And,
what I'm saying.
He made note of it that he was on note cards, but he did it so well.
Oh, look, it is fun.
I was
Make
actually
it through?
he didn't
Yeah.
because this was semi-finals.
Yeah.
So but he
Dude, it is fun, but
he
why?
did incredible.
right.
He was one of the ones I enjoyed the most. Like
Yeah.
he was but
That's
he made
'cause it's
fun
Raw.
of it. Yeah, but he had fun with
literally.
it. Like, and he was just like,
Look, it is fun that they do, and then sometimes they can throw the card when it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Do you know, like
Who's
Letterman?
got
that's
that
what he
one-
kept on doing.
Yeah,
Like,
they
it
all
was
do
just
that
fun with it. He's
shtick.
like,
Adjust
Who's got
adjust
that
the
bit
jacket.
where he looks at the note and he goes, "Oh, it just says believe in yourself."
Oh, that's originally was a Luke McGregor joke.
Right, yeah.
But then it fucking resurfaced
Repurposed.
800 times.
Yeah.
It's
I think
amazing how
it's
much
so funny.
stuff
it just seems,
resurfaces it.
but it
Yeah.
just seems to be like that was a perfect example of like the personality and the character that he had on stage was far more important than him reading a note joke.
Yeah, man. I just, because I used to write
is
it
what
all,
you were doing,
and
I
it
guess.
makes it easier. But then it's like Bill Burr, Patrice O'Neill, they never did, and I'm like, that's a funner life.
Yeah, but also like everyone's different. You can't compare yourself to anyone else. You can only do.
Do you know what I've realised? The best bits come from just hanging with comics,
Always.
riffing. Because we were in that
Always.
house in Adelaide,
Yeah.
and you just riffed up everything. Like Ronnie, we were writing from non-stop, really.
Yeah.
We almost wrote his show,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Well, so when we went to X-Men,
Just hanging out with him, and we're like, tag.
Yeah.
He's in the car, DUI.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, he's got a crazy N-word bit.
Yeah, I know.
It'll either like melt the room or melt his career. Made me cry and punch the table, but I'm like, it's so wrong.
Well, that's right. Like
It's so off.
One of my two of my better bits were like on that trip to Exmouth with Squirrely and getting Delby and Squirrely to help me like formulate the
Dude.
joke. Had the idea, but I couldn't quite get the
And
punch.
how good's that when you get on stage, because it's
And it
now
works.
like a
Yeah.
story you developed chatting, and when you catch up with mates and they go, tell us about the wheelchair guy's story.
Yeah.
You're like, you don't have to fucking plan it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Delby's been telling me the whole time, and I find it quite difficult to do it. But like find your voice, like find you, be you, like talk like you
Dude, 'cause
would.
I did that
And I
the
think I'm finally starting.
It's
to
trying to
get
build that
there.
confidence up.
I don't. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I sent a video to a couple of my mates of me at Raw.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, that's starting to look like the Branchy that we know and love."
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
that one is like,
Why did you have your dick out?
I was going to screenshot that and send that to you, and it's like,
Yeah.
I must be.
That's
getting
fucking
more
good,
to
dude.
be-
Because it's like the
yeah, because you can feel insincerity or inauthenticity.
Well, that's what.
or you can feel.
Well,
when
I had
it's
that in
scripted.
my show. Like two gay mates came and they go, "Why'd you tell the Nan story like that?"
Yeah.
Do you know? Like, we heard it at a house party. It sucks now.
Yeah.
Do you know? Like, they were
Yeah.
honest because I'd like compacted it, and
Yeah,
they were
right.
like, "Dude, the story was perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've made it worse, and it doesn't sound like you anymore."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Brendan made a point. He's like, the reason you're able to say some of those things that I've been saying and people like it now, anyway, he's like, you look almost broken from
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But then you sort of like smirk at the end of it. And he said, like, there's a vulnerability to it and then it's cheeky.
Dude, you know what's the hardest
I
thing
don't know.
is-
I haven't tried to do that. I think that's just started coming across that way. I don't
hardest
know.
thing is,
I think I'm just starting to feel more confident on stage and comfortable.
Yeah.
They judge you so harshly, though. Do you know what I mean? The crowd.
Yeah.
They're not. Yeah, like especially in Australia, I think they reject you to start and then you got to win it back.
Yeah.
I think in the US they give you a little bit more leeway. Do you know what I mean? Like they trust that you can do the job.
Oh, who
Australian
was
culture
talking
is
about
like,
this?
fuck them. Who's this cunt thinking
You've
that?
been talking to
You
Amos,
can't
haven't
fucking
you?
deliver.
Because this is what Amos said
Amos
to me.
has been saying, yeah, buddy, you can do it.
Yeah,
No,
that's
but there they go, he's got it.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to do the wheelchair bit because like I just riffed it, but it was actually true. I was at Connections and a wheelchair guy came past. And
How hard did he get fucked?
I tried to include him and I go, dude, do you want to go to slip and slide? And he goes, yeah. And I go, I'll push you down the fucking stairs. And I was just joking. It wasn't a great joke. But then I came, he goes, come down and talk to me. And he got me in a headlock and he goes, you fucking piece of shit. And I was like, dude, I just didn't want to talk to you in deaf voice and talk down to you. Like, we're all riffing here. We're all having fun. It's meant to be inclusive.
Yeah.
And then eventually it does bring out the worst in you. I ended up like a hate crime because then you whisper and you're like, I will put you in a second wheelchair, you fucking puddle. And then you're like, holy fuck.
So you're trying to be inclusive and it went
I go,
wrong.
you came in a wheelchair, you leave in a stretcher, you fucking. And then I said, God doesn't make mistakes, cunt. And anyway,
you are vicious.
I went vicious, right?
Yeah.
But then he ended up pointing me out to the bouncers. I was kicked out and I was like, fuck. That's sort of, you become what they say you are, because it actually had started off as playful.
Yeah.
But then when he was hurting my neck, because they're fucking strong, dude.
Yeah, his grip strength.
His grip is hanging. Yeah. But anyway, I was saying like,
I thought you were going to say, do you want to do a slip and slide? Oh, you already did.
The whole premise, that would have been the best. That's where I was working.
Yeah.
The whole premise wasn't very good, but I'm like, they won't let you even work around an idea. I'm sure there's something in that, which was the real premise was inclusion.
The wheel premise?
And the wheel.
No, but you...
No, including people and making them feel seen, but not patronised.
Yeah.
And not to talk down to them and
And
make
you
them
ended
feel
up
like one of
picking
the...
a fight with a guy in a wheelchair.
One of the lads, but I'm saying by him projecting and seeing me in the wrong way, I became his tormentor. Like I actually was kind. I wanted him to feel part of the group.
Yeah.
And then he turned me into a monster.
Yeah.
And look, I do regret it. Anyone listening, sorry.
But hang on.
Oh, yeah. Go.
Was he like fresh in a wheelchair though? Like maybe he's only been in it for 6 months.
Well, that's what
or
you
a
don't
year.
know, dude. He
If
might-
he'd been in it for 20 years, then he'd be like, oh yeah, fuck, I've heard it all, you know?
No, but the thing was,
Yeah.
it was just drunk banter, and it was like, I've been doing that all night to everyone else, but it's often you're projecting your own hang-ups because everyone else was taking it in good faith. It was just a joke, and then we'd brush it off, and then I'd end up chatting to them, and we'd have like a laugh.
Yeah.
Because I think like even at any comedy show, anyone in a wheelchair or disabled people just act like they're not there.
Yeah.
So like you were trying to include him by
My-
roasting him like
I hate the
anybody
most
else.
is when they go, hey, mate.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
They
They're not
change
dumb.
the tone.
Yeah.
Good boy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're literally talking to them like a toddler. And I'm like, being people feeling pity for you is actually the meanest thing you can do to a human being, because do you think it just makes you acutely aware of your problem the whole time.
Well, it's like when we had Luke from Ocean Heroes on, and he said that autistic person came up to
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah.
And he goes, you act like I'm not in the room. I
Yeah.
can hear everything you're saying,
Yeah.
but you act like I'm not there.
Talk to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What were you
yeah.
going to say, Branch?
No, I was just going back. It was less on the autism and the attack, but it was more. Well, it is a bit about it. Like you were going back on like the way the Americans watch comedy and the way Australians watch comedy. Do you think it's become like such a trendy thing to do? So all these people who aren't interested in comedy are starting to go out in Australia.
Nah, because look at the Raw finals. Look at the
Yeah,
Raw
I don't
heats.
know,
There
man.
wasn't as fuck all.
Look,
people.
and they're just such different worlds.
But
I mean to watch,
It's
not to
perfect.
do.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Not to do, to like go and watch. And so,
Well, I
like,
don't know,
I feel like it is becoming a trend. Let's go watch
hope so.
comedy.
We're sort of like
Not that it wasn't.
Australia's
ever.
behind.
Yeah,
so you've
that's-
got America's at the cutting edge of
That's what
comedy.
I mean, yeah, it's been
The
there for
UK's
years.
about 5 years behind, and we're probably 10.
Do you think?
Yeah, of course, dude.
And that's what
Why?
I mean.
Well, I just
because-
look at all the things. It's like all the acts are just like
Yeah, but that's
gender
a numbers.
reveals.
That's a numbers game, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's a numbers game. There's 376 million in America. You need 0.1% of that population, and you're famous.
But
I know what you're saying. I know what you're
Yeah.
saying. Because it's a broader, it's like how it's easier to do well in a big room.
Yeah.
Because there are more people there,
More
so you'll
people.
find your audience. Someone will find, I know
Exactly.
that it wasn't being mean to that wheelchair. Obviously, I was ultimately at the end.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying to you is they might find some humor in that or
Yeah.
say, the sentiment is actually about inclusion.
Yeah.
It's not about exclusion.
The more people there are, the more successful you can be. Like a perfect example is going to Sydney. I'm able to do 3 shows, 3 nights in a row in different parts of Sydney, and it's going to still.
Oh, dude, and
you're going to get heaps there. If I did that in Perth, you can do north of the river, and then Mandurah.
And this is the difference as well.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a good point. Yeah.
even going to Adelaide and its fringe and people around there, the opportunities increase. Like we drank with Eric Andre's entire crew.
Yeah, right.
And then we drank with this Alex.
Was he there?
Alex does shows. He wasn't there, but the whole group
was he
were
doing his
8.
show there,
Yeah, he was
or-
doing a show there
Yeah,
to
right.
3,000 people. And then it was
This
the
show's crazy, hey?
Soho
It's real fucking weird.
Playhouse Theatre owner was there
Okay.
drinking. But I'm saying to you, like, imagine the opportunities you would get if you actually lived in New York. Because you're in Adelaide for 4 nights.
Yeah.
And you meet like 3 big
Yeah.
stars and you hang out and you have great laughs with them. And I'm like, imagine if you lived in a country with 220, how many is in the US? 220 mil?
380 or
376
It's a fucking inflated like the currency, dude.
But also, their fucking country's gone down the toilet, bro.
It's because they opened the borders and let everyone in.
Yeah, legit. You better learn
dude.
Spanish, man. You'll blow up.
It's a Ponzi scheme, hey? That's all they do.
Yeah.
That's why Bitcoin's going through the roof. They just
Why, because of the Mexicans?
No, I'm saying
No, it's an election year. Every election year it goes up.
No, but I'm saying
You seen that?
what they also do with the currency, right? They just print money to cover the debt.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like they
Yeah.
run it up, and then they just run up, and then rather than getting caught out, they just print money. And we've worked for $10 an hour, and now it's worth $5 an hour. All your savings are degraded.
Should we
They're
do it as a
gonna
podcast?
collapse.
What?
Do you think we should do it as a podcast? We've seen that trend of like every year Bitcoin, like everyone goes, no, it can't go up anymore. And then every election year it just fucking
But it halves.
quadrillion dripples.
The amount of Bitcoins halves around the same time.
Yeah.
So,
But should we just
Do you know
invest
what
now and then after the election just
sell?
sell?
Do you know what I really
Yeah, I
want?
don't think there's enough room in it now. Like,
But that's what everyone says every time.
But even if it goes, it's at 70,000 now, right?
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
if it goes to $1 million, that's only like 18 times your investment. Like,
Oh, that's terrible.
it's
What
so volatile.
What a terrible win.
Yeah, but it's like so volatile, man.
No, but
And
I
it's
really
like-
want because
Yeah,
the plan,
yeah, but so is the fucking dollar.
the
Like,
regulators, man, the regulators
like
need to
Warren G.
be on top of more of this. Like the whales will dump at the same moment.
Yeah.
Set up. I was thinking about it even on the flights because the flights back here, same problem, right? The algorithm tracked me because I had to get a second flight, and then they increase it.
That's why I always
and then
search
guess what
for
happened?
incognito mode on
Flight delayed. Of course, it's fucking delayed. I'm like, why don't companies have to show what percentage flights are delayed?
Yeah.
Do
Well,
you know what I mean?
they just did a study on that.
I think most are because
they?
you know when I tapped through it. I used to work in Europe and I travelled to France. And I went 3 times in a row, and my baggage got lost, but all 3 times. And it wasn't an accident. It was cheaper for them to just roll it through and then unload and ship it the next day
But
for
you
the
know
10
you can
people.
claim insurance on that as well. I did that in Edinburgh. I got $1,000, bro.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is,
Really?
Yeah.
You know how you
I'm
think-
deliberately going to try that this
you
next
think
time.
you get unlucky on your flights? But
Yeah.
I think 8 out of 10 flights are delayed.
a saving cost.
And they don't get to show that. And they should actually, when you book Jetstar, is go expect a 90-minute wait.
Well, you do that anyway, don't you?
Well, you always wait.
But I think Virgin had the highest delay rate of 6%.
I don't want to say anything because I'm getting on a flight tomorrow morning, but
And they'll try crash it
I like-
to get you back.
I don't think I've clearly been delayed, but I can't remember being delayed like more than.
Well,
an
I must
hour.
be. I must be cursed by the universe because every flight I go on is
the one I did,
overbooking, a
but-
problem.
Well, the one that I did get delayed on was really bad. It was a connecting flight as well, so we missed our connecting flight,
that fucking
lost
sucks.
our luggage, lost
Why doesn't
everything.
the government-
And do you know what they said? They said, it was due to weather
Yeah, but
delays.
you-
It was 29 and sunny in London. That's not.
Yeah. They talk shit.
This is what I'm saying to you. Like, why doesn't the government do their fucking job?
Yeah.
And give warnings like they do on cigarettes to let you know that who is the most unreliable carrier.
Yeah.
When you buy a fucking vacuum cleaner, it should say,
Yeah.
what are the warranty claim numbers? 8% of these things are returned, and you go, I might get the Dulux one instead because it's at 6%.
That's a good
Why
point,
aren't you
yeah.
aware of your refunds
If you
and
go
your
on
warranty
to
data?
bitre.gov.au, it's got it for January 2024. Performance over all routes by participating airlines averaged 73% for on-time arrivals and 74% for on-time departures.
Okay, well, that's blowing me out the water. So
25% of flights are delayed.
What's
Yeah.
Essentially.
What's does it have like carriers?
2.2% cancellations. Yeah, Qantas had a 76% on time. Virgin was 68%.
AirAsia.
Bonza was 78.4. Rex 77.
Okay.
Jetstar 71, and Skytrans. Fuck, they're progressive at 65.
Okay, now this is the question. Like, is that good enough?
I don't think so.
If you're running,
What's the delay, though?
if you're an employee and someone goes, you got to be here at 8:30 and you rock up at 12, do you keep your job?
One, what's a delay?
No, but
like,
you-
what do
Well,
they-
if you're due to leave
but
at
listen to
11
this.
and you leave at 11,
yeah, but
No, but I'm saying to you,
that's okay. Fucking
Well,
11 minute
you
delay.
made a contract with them, and what you don't realize
That's
is
right.
the reason it's delayed is because they fired 2 of the 8 baggage handlers they used to as a strategic decision and
That's
thought,
right.
you know what, on Sunday, fuck it, we'll just run with 6.
Yeah.
We will have more delays on there. We'll keep it about 75. But the guys running the business are not dumb.
Yeah.
They will have neglected areas and thought, nah, we're happy to tolerate, what are our competitors doing? 75?
Yeah.
We'll do 77. It'll make us the best performer.
Yeah.
But the government,
save money
who
on
are
these.
meant to protect consumers from these fucking scumbags that want to optimize profit, should be helping us to say, actually, we want 90% on time, or you can fuck off and lose your contract. 'Cause why do they even have it? They purchase a Boeing, and then put a sticker on it. There is no fucking airline brand.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's just colors
and
and
it's not.
shit.
That doesn't. That's not like.
it's not good enough, really,
It's not
like you said.
subjective. It's subjective. It's not just airlines.
What about
It's like
electrical
that.
goods?
It's every company.
What
in the
about
world,
electrical
like,
goods?
Whatever.
When you buy a TV, why doesn't it show how many warranty claims were on that? How much Panasonic, how many fucking refunds they do? You should just say 8% refunds, 6% warranty claims. Do you know what I mean? Within the 2-year period. Why don't they give you that data? Like, obviously you can get it through the annual report.
Yeah.
But when a dumb cunt buys a TV and says, fuck, this one's cheaper, guess why it is? Because they're fucking cutting corners on the product,
Yeah.
and they got a 12% refund
Devil's
rate.
advocate, you should do your research before you buy, right?
Do you
Yeah,
think?
but I mean, these dumb. Imagine if you had to put percentage of refunds,
Yeah.
which I think makes sense for all products,
Yeah.
or warranty
Be
claims.
good for chicks.
don't you think
How
that's-
good would it be for
Oh,
chicks?
dude.
Percentage of breakups
Percentage of
caused by
ex-boyfriends.
Taylor Swift's
Oh, dude,
fucked.
imagine if you had to show your cheating numbers.
Yeah. Taylor
8
Swift.
cheats.
Taylor Swift's X rates is just like
Oh, dude, imagine if you had to. People had that data,
Yeah.
and they go, "This guy's cheated 8 times."
yeah.
The odds are no good.
Yeah.
It's like an Uber rating. It was like that Black Mirror thing where you started getting your social credit ranked.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
social credit's a fucking thing now. I've seen, speaking of Taylor Swift, she buys carbon credits.
That's so fucking lame.
It's huge, man.
But
I can't believe that's a thing.
Do you
man.
guys-
how is that a thing?
It's
How is that
disgusting, man?
That's so close to be like, oh, they're doing it just for a show of good faith.
No,
I don't
it's-
care if it's not even a real thing.
Where
Like,
does the money go? To the airline, and they're supposed to plant trees or something?
No, dude, it's to offset her
yeah.
travel,
How?
right?
Yeah.
How do you offset it with money?
Do you know how?
It's out
You
there.
buy land that they can then, plant trees.
Yeah, but
No,
they
dude,
do- there's no-
I don't mind the carbon credits.
No, you
Oh,
fucking
you
good idea.
fucking
Here we go.
No, because they have value and then you can trade them. I think it makes sense.
How so?
Carbon credit is a valid way of keeping companies honest because there are other areas where
It's bullshit.
there's
It's not a
availability.
real thing.
Yeah.
It is, man.
So what
It's
you,
not.
you know what
carbon
they're going
credits
to
are
do.
valid.
You know what
not, bro.
He
They
wants
are,
these
you
put-
don't.
I'll tell you what, you should trade in carbon credits for on-time arrivals and departures.
Yeah.
So what they're trying to, what the implications are is that apparently long term, the idea is if you're a rich person and you want to be able to travel more, you go to Delby, who's not going to travel as much, go buy some of his carbon credits and pay him. He'll get money,
Yeah.
which is great for you because you'll be like, fuck yeah, free money. I wasn't going to use it anyway. But it's just, it's a very limiting. It
Fucking disgusting.
No, it's sort of
holds you in
reverse
place.
of what they should have done earlier because you should have had to pay like when you have to dump waste at a tip site.
Yeah.
They never had to pay for environmental damage, but they just had to pump smoke out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They should have been a cost going, look, we're in China and you're fucking pumping out this much shit.
Yeah.
You have to pay an extra $8 million per litre because we can't have a skyline anymore. Do you know what I mean? And people are getting sick.
like, is there
But they're doing it in reverse because that's because
if you
the
could
carbon
pay-
credit achieves that.
And it's for us, and like China's never on board with it.
Because it ends up being a tax thing as well, hey?
Yeah, it's a tax.
So
Nah, dude, it is valid. The carbon credit works.
You're a fucking dickhead.
So why don't? So I
can
actually
trade
I
the
stumbled
carbon
across.
credit.
Have you seen this guy who's been doing
It's a
he's
made-up
been doing
thing.
wicked videos as well, like the tax stuff on the
Yeah.
gas.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool. Like, have you seen them where he talks about like
What
the fact that
Qatar-
Australia don't tax, we tax it at like a nothing or 1 or 2% rate,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
Corey's mentioned a few times.
Oh, we all talk about that, right? The fact that the iron ore
Yeah.
is sold at $1.
Yeah.
The tariff is
Yeah.
never gone up.
Yeah.
Whereas, and it's because they are the government and they've somehow infiltrated, and it should be. We should be
We
like
should be
we
living
should
for
be like
free.
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
We're selling the lion's share of the iron ore, the lion's share of the lithium,
Yeah.
lot of oil
All
and
the
gas,
gas. Yeah.
and yet the schools are not funded. There's not hospital money,
Yeah.
and it's
We should be
insanity.
living
And you
for
know where it
free.
goes? So that Gina Reinhardt can sit on that cliff looking at this weird number that never ends. Like,
Yeah.
it's literally should be put back into the economy.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why we allow that to happen.
And this is why people used to, like, I used to get in like tussles with people with Mark McGowan. They'd be like,
Yeah.
you're only hating because of the vaccines and stuff. No, like there was obviously he was lining the pockets.
Well,
of
how
the
about
fucking-
this?
of the
you know what
the
they really
resource
need?
industry.
Need a party that runs that expropriates the fucking assets back.
Yeah.
Because
You
you
need
know
a-
what? We don't give a fuck. It's not that hard to dig holes and dig the sand up.
Yeah.
Fuck Gina Ryan and all of them and go, we're taking it back for no money. We're now like Africa.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out. Well, the governments will do the uniforms, and we'll put all the profit back into our
Well,
state.
I can't remember which country it was, Denmark or Norway, a Scandinavian country or something like that. And they were like, yeah, everyone said we can't tax them 75% of that money. It's not going to work. They won't come do it. And he's like, we did it. And they still came. They still invest. They still get the oil.
Tax
They still
them all,
get
man.
the gas. They're still mining. Like,
Tax
they're still
them into
doing
the
it. Tax
ground.
them more. Put it back into the country. And fucking help us out
This-
a little
this
bit.
is
We're
what
going
you
through
do.
one of the worst fucking cost of living crises
Dude, it's
in history.
There's no reason that Australia should be with our resources, well, especially.
We're in a great position. So the government, they take out shorts on all these companies and then bring in legislation that buries them. You make $1 trillion, dude. It's the big short. You go in short on fucking
should,
Hancock, Fortescue Metals, and then you go, guess what? New policy. 85% tax. Lick a dick. You just lost this much money, and we put our entire national debt into a hedge.
You should
Short hedge.
You should run for politics, man.
Oh, dude,
and
I'll
work
tell
You
from
should
the
do
inside.
you should do an investing podcast.
If you want to listen, it's called Sure Thing.
Dude,
Wolfie.
obviously you probably couldn't do such a thing. But this is what I realized with one of the things, because everyone talks about insider trading, but I think what one of the things that happens in companies is managing the flow of the information. Like, they manipulate it all and it's totally legal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so they have like something bad happen, something good, and they don't regulate as tightly the way you disperse that information. Do you know what I mean? Because you're in control of it, and say you're drilling a well, you can drill the worst one first on purpose so it fails. You tell all your mates we're drilling the worst one on first. You're telling profit in anticipation. Then when it tanks, you go like, don't worry, the other two are the main ones. So it's like you get 5 cards, you got 4 aces and 1 joker. You can put the joker first, and the boys can load up. And I reckon that happens fucking more times than you want to mention in Western Australia. Because the problem with Western Australia, they're not as honest as we make out.
No.
We say, we're convicts for stealing bread. I'm like, I think most of them are fucking descendants of murderers and rapists, to be honest. When I look at the fucking scoundrels
And that's not
that
to-
are in
that are
West
running it.
Perth.
Yeah.
I don't want to whinge and complain about it because we're pretty lucky the country we live in and the benefits we get. But fuck, like if it's very obviously like almost like a not laundering, but they're raping
Oh, dude, the
the
stuff,
future generations
the
of
stuff's insane. Even just
because
in,
they're the ones who are going to have to pay for everything that we're dealing with.
even in the gas policy, right? Stokes has got he's got an exemption
What for?
of exporting the gas. Like, everyone else is restricted and has to domestically supply it to a certain percentage. But for some reason, Kerry Stokes didn't have any problem.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
And then, so
it's
obviously
almost like
that
McGowan was
yeah, and that obviously
was
allows
in
them
the pocket of him.
to profit at the expense of the other companies and potentially take them out. And then guess what? Now it's probably going to get changed. But I'm like, who passed that through? McGowan? And then he's in Min Res now. And then, this is the other problem, is you can't really...
Who's he with now? Mineral Reese?
Min Res.
Yeah, Min
But
Res.
look,
They
Chris
do
Ellison,
great food on site for their performers.
But you know what the problem is? They get paid. How do they get paid? like everyone's looking for a basic bribe, but they just improve their lifestyle post-retirement because they get 500 grand and then their daughter's suddenly got a job.
Yeah.
She's got the IQ of a fucking Labrador.
Yeah. But
and she's running.
That's pretty good IQ.
No, yeah, that's all right. But you know what I mean? They drip feed you the money after the event because, like, does anyone really? He does public speaking events now. He's boring as shit.
Yeah.
Someone's going to give him 200 grand to listen to that guy bore the pants off you. Like,
Yeah.
what insight does he have?
Yeah.
How to not get stabbed in Rockingham. He's just fucking. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who really wants them at your dinner?
Well, those conflicts of interest are so obvious and plain for
And
everyone
why-
to see.
and why-
Why? Well, not why. No one does anything about it. We can't.
And what's the
All
thing?
we can do is like from a fucking three white guys on a
And
podcast
know what he's
draw people's attention to
He
it.
says, he's got networks and connections. So what? I'm like, he's capable of doing underhanded deals. This is what we're saying. Like, once you leave politics, you shouldn't have influence.
You
in
should.
politics.
Why don't you do the demotivational speaker? People can hire you to do this.
So cool.
Dude,
There's
I
a
wanna-
guy that
I-
does it on the circuit.
I actually
and
dreamed of
kills it.
setting up like a political party, but it eventually become Germany.
Like
really.
Hitler.
Because the power will corrupt me. Initially, I'll be like, yeah, we get this, we expropriate assets, and then I'm like, we march on Asia. I got crazy. I went a bit fucking mental.
Would you do demotivational speaking? Like corporate?
What do you mean?
Nihilism.
So
Motivation.
you know
Nihilism.
when they get a speaker in to be a motivational speaker,
Yeah.
instead of that, he comes in and be a nihilist like this, like, oh, it's all fucked anyway.
Yeah,
we
just-
all know that we're sucking the dick of fucking Hancock and fucking sucking Hancock. more
Because that
like
would
it.
at the same time bring you all together. Go, we're all
Yeah.
fucked together.
Yeah. There's a
Yeah.
guy.
Do
There's a guy that does it right on the circuit, and he makes fucking stacks.
Really?
What, he
Like
does
in a comedy sense?
Yeah, it's like a demotivational comedy sense, like what
Yeah.
Wolfie does when he's just ripping on shit.
Yeah.
but makes it funny.
Dude, that's because I've seen that. Like, I love these people that deconstruct because they'll get the politician in, pay him 200. My favorite was seeing like the Welcome to Country guy, and it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then he derailed it and went like, he got into a lot of detail about the hardship and all the travesties that come because of the white people, and they were all just stunned and they could do nothing about it. And he goes, I was sexually assaulted behind a... Do you know what I mean? I was like, this rules. You can see all these people like going, what can we do? You can't take the microphone away from them. And it's like, when I'm in there, shit's happening. And that you see people going like, fucking hell. And then they all ate the meal in silence. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you fucking deserve for a welcome to country.
You love that chaos.
We'll make you squirm, white people.
Welcome
That's
to
so
country
funny.
is so fucked, man. Like it is. It might be Corey or maybe it's you.
Everyone's got a bid on it, dude.
But just saying, basically, like if you're gonna do a welcome to country and say, you know, we think, you might as well just give it back. Give it back or fucking move on.
Yeah.
Like, are you gonna give back the country?
Amos
Are
has
you
got a
gonna give
good
it
bit.
back to him?
Amos has got a good bit on this, but it's in his current show. So
So
can't do it.
when he
I was about-
finally
I was
decides to come on, he can fucking tell it.
I was about to tee off and actually just go, I'm going to crush right now. And then I thought,
Yeah,
with
Amos's
Amos's premise. What a dog, hey?
How long is he in Adelaide at the moment, eh?
Yeah, but he's fucking killing it, man.
Man, he's so
He's got the nicest house. He's the kindest guy.
Wish he would come on.
It's like the fucking funny farm in
Man,
there.
he's so
Corey,
he'll
me,
message back
Ronnie
3
never-
times and then go leave you on red for four.
Yeah,
4
but the
weeks.
thing is, I think he's a lot like me because we interact, but our mental health goes so up and down that you can just suddenly...
You look good though, bro.
No, but you can suddenly not
have
talk.
you been working out? Or
Nah,
anything?
but you can suddenly not talk for a month. So we'll be chatting and the phone will cut out. Neither of us bother to ring back. Like, yeah, we hit it. We hit the mania had died off. So.
I do that with you,
know-
as
you
well.
know-
Like if I like
You know what's so funny is watching how similar we were? Because
Yeah,
we'd
yeah.
wake up and it's about 7 a.m. We're both shoeless, walking up and down the streets at the front of his house. And I look over and we cross paths and I'm like, he's got no shirt on because I'm fat. I've got a shirt on. We're not wearing shoes and we're just fucking ranting to someone on a phone. And I was like, fucking hell. I thought I was the only guy that wandered the street. His neighbours must
Were you
think
sober or were you pissed?
his neighbours think he's batshit crazy. They're like, dude, you would have got sunburnt. You're out there so long, just howling, shouting
Mate,
at
my
people.
first chat with him when he came to Fringe was like the first thing he did was like, "This is a fucking surveillance state." That was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first thing he brought up. I was like, "Oh fuck,
Dude, he actually
you clearly know what my sort of appetites
he
are."
got very lucky with because I don't think anything happened with that stitch up job where they're trying to cancel him.
Nah.
And nothing
'Cause you
happened,
addressed
right?
it.
It was he mentioned her hair, but they fucked up because they should have come at him in Melbourne In Adelaide, he's got connections. Dude.
Well, I saw what
You
Rudy
should-
did was quite good.
Oh, dude, but the way
What did Rudy do?
He filmed. He's like, as a gay, Indigenous, white mixed race comedian. I'm telling you, not all white males comedians.
I
are
do
bad.
love that.
And he's like, I stand with all of them. He's like, they're
I
fucking
love
some
that,
of the
but
best people in the world.
To
that
be
I've
honest,
met.
I
Thanks,
felt
Rudy.
I felt Rudy might have had a 300 ticket sale hole for his theatre, trying to light a cigarette off Amos's bonfire. That's what
I thought it was good though.
Whoa. But I felt, but dude, the influence he has, because
Yeah.
I'm like, come at him. And I'm like, you know how many people he knows that potentially the advertiser, they pay quite a lot of money for ads with the fucking advertiser because they were like high up politicians. Everyone I'm hearing on the phone, I'm like, he's fucking got big reach, Amos. And
Yeah.
like, it's crazy how he's full famous there. Like he's on the big bus stops.
Yeah,
When you
yeah.
walk around. I think it's like a prelude to where he'll end up. He should be there in the next year or two, I reckon.
He's going to
He'll
be
go.
huge.
He'll be the big boy.
Yeah. What's going on
What's
with
the
Ronnie?
pathway there? Oh, sorry.
I was saying, what's going on with Ronnie? Does he tour with Amos or something?
Ronnie-
because he's like an open mic comic in
No,
Perth.
Amos loves poison and crazy people, so he just created like a funny farm, dude.
Yeah.
It was like One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It's the craziest house I've ever been into, dude. I thought I was on fucking mushrooms half the time. I was like, what's
'Cause you
going
probably
on?
were.
Because you had Corey go wandering around with his
Yeah.
energy and his whole thing. Amos, me. Then
And
you had,
Ronnie selling
then you had
potato
Ronnie,
peelers.
who's like fucking wild, the wildest gypsy I've ever heard, hey? And he's just non-stop. I almost had
Because
to
what's he doing though? Was
Well,
he
you're
just
a
opening
share
for you
house.
guys?
I
or-
almost had to pull out of gigs because he was draining me of energy. Just
How can
hammering
you
me.
be drained of energy?
He spoke for
That's-
like 9 hours without a break.
That's a taste of your own
And
medicine.
that's what I was saying to everyone. I said, I finally now know what it's like to meet me.
That was the spiritual retreat that Wolfie needed.
Dude, he's not living in his house, so he's parked his van there. And he lives.
What, so he doesn't live in Perth
he lives
anymore?
in a van, dude. And I've got a photo
Like
of
a
him
full
just drinking. He doesn't even drink from the tap. He's got like a
Full Irish
You see
gypsy.
him drinking like just water from a thing. But dude, he's selling great ticket.
Ronnie.
Ronnie was I think the top seller in Perth.
What?
Ticket sales.
Really? He did.
Dude, he was
what it? It
fucking
was
selling
30
out.
Ronnie-
called 30 Irish stories or
Cork's
something.
greatest storyteller.
Oh, yeah.
He was so embarrassed. My brother came to one show and he goes, "Oh, that was a bad one." He bombed hard, I reckon. But yeah, dude, he's booked in Melbourne 200 seaters.
How?
He's not paid for the venue. Like he talks his way in. He was a fucking great salesman. He saved Amos, and I think Amos had an off night in Edinburgh. And he goes, "Ronnie, can you help me?" And he goes, "Oh, I'll help you." And he just grabbed like a street cone, kicked off the end of it, and goes, "Listen up, you motherfucker!" in his Irish voice. There's only one show. The only one show you need to go. Stand in here now. And people are like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" People gathered around, and he said, one of our like gender reveal comics or whatever they're called tried to intervene, and he
What?
A gender reveal comic.
well, that's their act,
It's
right?
like a kinder surprise
That's their
comedian.
act. They just a gender reveal for all
We
the
know
time.
what's on the outside, but what's on the inside?
I'm like, "What's your act?" Gender reveal
Yeah.
for eternity.
Yeah.
We stand up there and you explain your gender. It's a child's gender reveal party. That's their whole comedy.
yeah.
Do you know there's nothing beyond that? But anyway, they said something like, "We're a good show. We're a good show as well." And he yelled,
"No,
he
you're
goes,
fucking
He
nuts."
goes, "Shut your fucking mouth, F word."
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, these gypsies don't have a filter, dude.
Wait. F word.
Yeah, like for the slur for gay people.
You gotta love a character.
Well, so people went to Amos's off that.
Oh, I think he sold like,
I saw him in Edinburgh.
you know
It
how
was
many,
great.
you know how many he sold? I think Ronnie sold 68 tickets in 15 minutes.
What for Amos's
For
show?
Amos's show.
That's incredible.
How do
Or
you,
maybe 30 minutes.
how do you find out all this stuff? Do you look
Talking
into
to
it?
Ronnie.
I had a chat to Amos, had a chat to Ronnie.
Yeah, okay.
Ronnie told me this story.
Yeah.
Do you find...
I saw Amos's show in Edinburgh. It's fucking brilliant, bro.
Did you know what's so
Amos's?
good?
Yeah, very good.
It should win the award. It was the best show I saw by a long way.
The reviews that I don't understand the 1-star reviews. You have to be you have to probably have a chunk of your brain missing.
I find it
to give a 1-star review. You're either a self-important, egotistical reviewer that wants to make a statement, because there is no way as a comedy fan or as a logical thinking human you could ever give Amos's show a 1-star
Dude,
review.
how's this house?
It's 5-star comedy and concept.
I was explaining to Amos, how entitled are you? It's like going to Coles and trying to say, I don't like anchovies, take them off the fucking shelf.
Yeah.
Like the arrogance, the presumption that you have the right because you went to show and everyone's eating olives and you're like, I don't like these.
Yeah.
To then write a long email and go, never serve them again. And you're like, you can see people, all the shows he crushes.
Yeah.
Right,
And I'm like, imagine being that knob, because I was thinking about it, even on Uber, I don't even do a rating because I'm not a fucking dobber.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, I
don't click the rating, man.
Yeah, I skipped through that now.
Fuck that.
I had a heap of friends come to watch me do a show he was on at the same time, and they stayed on to watch his solo after. And they said he fucking... Like, I haven't seen his whole hour. I only got to watch the 20 minutes he did after me, and it was like...
Dude, he's got a racism bit.
For him to be able to do an Asian accent and a fat joke in the same sentence
It's so
and get
good.
away with it and make the whole crowd buy in, I was crying.
Dude, he's
I was
developed-
fucking like watching a white guy do that is
Because,
it gives me
it's,
shivers,
because
man.
it's funnier than it is offensive.
It gives
done
me
it.
shivers.
Dude, wait until...
That
Did
was
you
so
see his
good.
bit of the robot slave?
No.
He's got a racism bit and slave bit that's about 10 minutes. Probably the best stand-up I've seen.
Wow.
No, the premise is fucking unbelievable, but I can't
You get so
sell
mad.
it.
Yeah.
No, dude, it's like... Talk about playing the pocket. I'm like, this cunt's hitting half-court shots of risk.
Yeah.
Like, he's in
The
there.
risk.
He's in there, and it's like, fuck me. Like, some of the hardest maneuvers, because it's so easy to just go, oh, my desk drawer doesn't open. But to go and talk about slavery in a way that's actually profound
Fuck.
Yeah,
and
that's-
have the crowd have 400 people cry laughing
Yes,
is a
That's why
fucking
he's-
genius.
Yeah,
dude.
that's why he's great.
That's actually
That's his
pushing
specialty.
boundaries.
His
'Cause
specialty is finding a controversial topic, saying something heinous, or presenting it in a way that you think, oh, this cunt's getting cancelled.
Fucking oath.
And then flipping it and making it absolutely...
Oh, dude, it was
Fuck,
such
I
a
thought,
terror.
I thought doing the fat joke in a Vietnamese
Oh, no,
accent was
no.
bad. That sounds
that was hell funny.
That's fucking the slavery joke.
Oh,
That's-
no,
that sounds intense.
He's got the premise of like the robot slave and then a deconstruct of slavery.
I've gotta see the whole
a
thing then.
deconstruction of why we are racist.
Does he do specials?
and
That's
and
great.
accepting that he is.
Does he do specials?
Dude, that's the
Yeah,
thing.
what's he done with his last few hours?
That's the
shows?
thing, man. This next special, I reckon, is going to be the fucking pop.
Yeah.
So this is what I was just asked before. Like, what's the pathway there? Not just for him, for like you or for
I don't
Delby,
know, man, but I'll tell you,
comics
like-
on the rise up. What's the pathway? What's the next step?
You got to do when it's like us, you got to do, I reckon there's 2 ways. Well, there's 3. There's one that, Wolfie, you're convinced of is pods and using pods to get a audience and then come to a show. I think the second one is to do what you started to do, which is to go and get your face around everywhere humanly possible and get known and then build your audience that way. So the next time you come back, like Dan Connell said, he goes, the next time
Yeah,
you come
100%,
back, it's
dude.
more of a long game.
Yep.
Or the third way, which
It's a long
is,
game, but also it's like that.
It's
It's like
authentic
that
and-
zone 2 running. Like you'll
Yeah.
have a stronger base.
Third
So
way,
yeah,
putting-
yep.
Putting
or
clips
the
out.
third way is not so much clips, because I think like unless one really pops, I think it's a waste. But you could probably put your hour up on YouTube like what Daniel Muggleton's just done.
Yeah.
And it's fucked because once it's out, it's gone and it forces you.
Yeah, yeah,
we've
you gotta
got
rewrite.
We got 8 years of our best material.
No,
right
but
now,
I still...
and we're using it in the pocket, but you could release that, and just by having it on YouTube with a few clever bits of marketing, you're going to have people in America see it, in the UK
dude,
see
but
it,
I've
that would
changed-
never have seen it.
I've been thinking the best outcome is to only do 2 specials.
Ever.
Yeah, to become one of the best. Just make 2 fucking good specials and then make money in other ways.
How did
Because
how
looking
many
at-
did Eddie Murphy do?
2. And
Delirious and Raw, right?
no, but I'm saying like, because look at the difference, because you got Carl Barron who still does theatres, but I'm saying like,
How many's he done?
What,
no,
you
he's
like,
done,
4 or 5?
he's done a lot, but look at Carl Barron and Jamon are the same comic in my mind, but Carl still sells out everywhere, and it's because he's not available. You don't know if he's alive until
Yeah.
he reappears.
Yeah.
And he never saturated
Or
it.
scarcity.
And he created scarcity. He initially got his name out, and then he went scarce. And I think like that is maybe a trap. You think you early on you want to hustle and get it, but then as soon as you get known, you should become evasive and just make one or two specials.
You don't saturate the market.
That's a fucking good point.
Otherwise, you know what ends up happening? You eventually go the whole way down the other side and start doing 200-seaters. And there are comics like that now, and you feel the burn of like, what the fuck?
But it
I'm in the
depends.
same room as that Wolfie cunt.
Because
You
if
know
it's
what
a
I mean?
one-off or it's a
depends.
rarity, it becomes special.
But which one's
doesn't
better,
it?
man? It's like that in Seinfeld.
They're all valid.
You know that guy when he runs 100 meters and never runs again? He wins that race.
They're all valid.
Imagine you do like one special and then one later, and then you like Dr. Dre, you just keep it like chronic, and you're like, we'll release it someday, and you never do. And then you just sell Dr. Dre beats
It
and
depends
other
what
things
you
for
like
money.
though, because if you like doing stand up, then let's say you go from theaters to 200-seaters. Right now, you'd kill for a 200-seater.
I'd love a 200.
So,
But imagine
and a
this.
200-seater is an $8,000 night.
Imagine if you change your whole perspective and go like, fuck, Louis C.K. is a rare one, trying to do one a year. Fuck it. The goal is to make one good special and then maybe 1 second and fuck everyone else. And then eventually quit comedy, man, and just and make people beg you that you should come
I
back.
just thought, hang on a sec, like, why don't you see if A-list or someone will take you on?
well, man, I've
and
had
tour
that
you.
people interested, eh? And I actually
Because
think
that's actually the next progression, because they've got the marketing budget behind it, and you've got all your set dates. And
dude, they were
like
people
what-
interested. It's basically just coming to Perth. You get off the radar.
You see, like the Shane, like the Gillises and the like, or pods. The pod way
Well,
is
how good-
a
how
certain
good's
way, but
McCann
it's
doing
not
that?
necessarily. Yeah, but it's not necessarily like what if we got really big, like to a point where I could tour? It doesn't make me a better comedian. So I like that idea that you were getting at was more like just keep going
my
and
dream-
hustling. It is that it gets your craft good.
I reckon I prefer
But-
like if you could get the right structure, a pod's funner because you don't have to like fix the premise.
Yeah, and then you can move
then
into
you're done.
other areas, I guess.
Well, it's
you
just
can do like
boring,
the Eddie
man.
Murphy style. Yeah, you can move into movies. You
Yeah.
can move into something.
But you don't
bigger
want to.
than-
You don't want to hone the premise. It's boring.
Mm.
Once you've got the rough idea, that's good enough, and then move on to the next one.
It depends on your goals. Yeah, it's fun having a riff, but it's better when you've got you've looked into it deeper.
So there's
Dude,
if you've done it 50
But
times
dude, you know what
on
the thing is?
stage,
Everyone
you've got
thinks
all
they
these-
everyone thinks they can have a legacy. But I was talking to a girl out there, like 21-year-old, and was like mentioned Bill Cosby, just like never. Who the fuck's Bill Cosby? And I'm like, so this guy, one of the biggest comics, definitely one of the biggest rapists of all time, and that's quite recent. She doesn't even know who he is.
Yeah.
And it was a standard joke, you know. Snoop Dogg's fucking menu log now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm like, there is no fucking legacy, dude. You just got to make sure you get what you want
Yeah.
out of your career
At the
because
time.
no one's going to fucking remember shit.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? You got to decide.
Yeah.
But you don't have this idea that you're building Mount Olympus.
Yeah.
None of it's relevant. Even the old movies are shit now because we got better technology.
Yeah.
No one's watching fucking black and white, even if it's a fucking classic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of legacy, he's got it sussed. He loves comedy.
Yeah.
And he just tours the world doing stand-up.
He's living the dream
He
already,
doesn't give a
dude.
fuck, bro. He's like, I'll gig here, $50, sick. He'll do it for free.
Dude,
No,
I
he's-
watched this.
He's a purist.
Yeah.
That
he loves it,
awards
yeah.
night is the best stand-up I've
was
ever
so
seen in
funny,
my
eh?
life.
That was so funny.
He did. He hosted the awards night. Every comic came up, shitting their pants, just didn't want to bomb in front of the other comics. This maniac just fucking riffed a storm up, man. He just didn't care, and he went after everyone. Boom, 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 and he would hit you in your.
Dude,
pain,
I
mate.
didn't know people were doing spots.
No one did spots, but anyone that accepted an award
Well,
would
yeah,
just
yeah,
be like,
yeah.
"Thank you,"
Yeah.
because they're like, "I'm not bumming in front of this many fucking good comics."
Yeah.
Hey?
Even Chris Franklin said something. He goes, I thought that was going to go a bit better in here.
Or, yeah.
What was it he said?
I just yelled "Free Palestine," just being ironic. I didn't even give a shit about any of it. I just thought, oh, that sounds funny.
I'm kind of spewing because I was going to do Grassroots tonight and Legacy's hosting, but because I've got Scotty and I'm going to Thailand tomorrow, I decided to not do it. But fuck, I really want to be on stage. I know you think it's not going to be good for me if he's MC,
Nah, it will be bad for you.
but I
Why?
still...
No,
I
Legacy's a good dude, man. Because
Before he brings Branchy up, he'll shit on you.
yeah, but that's good for you. That's how
fun,
you get
isn't
better.
it?
Yeah.
Do you think
Don't
that's
you
fun?
think?
Well, it depends. At this stage, probably not. Maybe
No,
in a year or
dude,
two.
it helps bring the
Oh, I
boys
don't
back
care
together.
if it... Like, I just... more so, like, because I'm starting to actually enjoy those sorts of shows. Like, when you're on, if you give me shit or something after I go on, I like...
Yeah,
Dude,
after's
think
fine.
about it.
Before, you
Nah,
want to build
dude.
them up.
But even before, like, I feel-
everyone thinks he's been an arsehole. He's thickening your skin.
Yeah.
And that's how you become a comic.
Yeah.
Because I've realized even if you're not even people that, if you go through the process of comedy, you become funny just from the trauma of doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, of course he should mock you.
Yeah.
It's like the same on the work side. Of course you need to fucking prank the apprentice.
But it's fun
Do
as
you know
well.
what I mean?
Like, I don't know
It's
what
It's a bonding thing,
yeah.
and it's like what we're saying. Oh,
Hazing.
that wheelchair story is nasty.
Yeah.
But chasing the apprentice around with a nail gun
Yeah.
brings the lads together, and eventually he becomes one of the lads.
Yeah.
When he doesn't act like a bitch about it,
Yeah.
and he toughens up and goes like "fuck you" and starts to mention your divorce.
Yeah.
Then you're like, let's fucking get beers.
Let's
dude,
pass on
with-
that generational
and
trauma.
then guess what
See-
happens? You become like brothers.
Well,
With that bonding.
I grew up in footy clubs, so if everything was just everyone giving each other shit. So like that Fringe review show Fringe preview show we did last year when he emceed it for us. And he gave me a fuckload of shit. He's like, there's a lot of comedians on tonight, and we got this guy as well. For fucking sake, he's going to come up, he's going to try his fucking best, you know. He's fucking trying, give him a go.
Why has that been forgotten now? Because like, if people aren't giving you shit, they don't like
I
you.
fucking like it. I fucking like it.
Giving shit is like basically
It's acceptance.
It's the monkey way of letting like picking the flea off their back.
Yeah.
It's how
It's how you actually
endearment.
connect.
it's a bloke thing.
It's a bloke thing, and it's
Yeah.
sort of like two ridgeback gorillas grooming each other, taking the flicks off their back
yeah.
by freeing them from the pain and just going, "Who gives a fuck, dude?
Yeah.
You're poor and your wife's left."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
If you're getting roasted,
Yeah,
That's what he says to me. You lost all your money. You lost your wife. You're a fucking loser. And I'm like, I love that, dude, because it popped the fucking pain for me.
Fucking oath, yeah.
Because he's the only guy with the balls to not just fucking tiptoe around it.
Every single time he comes on the pod, he gives me shit about my wife leaving me. Every
course,
single time.
dude.
And I love that. That's fine. Like, if you're tiptoeing around something that's...
Dude,
Like-
you know why? Because he understands humor and he knows it actually helps you to process
Yeah.
it, pain.
Yeah. And he knows I'm fucking good.
Everyone's
shit.
so
It's fun.
sensitive now, and they go, "It's so insensitive." I'm like, humor is a tool to process pain.
Yeah.
And people think, "Oh, that's offensive." And I'm like, if that wheelchair guy had just fucking chilled out, we might have helped him forget about the fact and get over it.
Yeah.
And move forward.
Yeah.
Because we might have got a few
Or
more
roll
riffs.
forward.
Yeah, we get a few more riffs in, and then suddenly, one day when he's getting out of the bed, he just bursts into laughter.
Yeah.
And he just realizes, nothing matters anyway. Like when you have DMT and you just burst into laughter and realize nothing can possibly matter in this lifetime.
I still haven't tried it yet.
Speaking of which, I'm going to go to Blazing Swan for the
Are
first time.
you going to do
really?
anything like that, DMT or anything?
I'll see what's there, man.
What's there, yeah.
If it's there, I'll do it.
But dude, once you
DMT?
laugh at the world,
Mm-hmm.
Sick.
the whole.
I really wish it wasn't.
I've done it before.
Easter with my daughter.
I'd never do it again, dude.
Yeah?
I've just realized, because I was talking to people about it, and it's like they go, "Shed you of your ego." I'm like, it's weird.
I
because
love my ego. That's my funny part.
it seems like you use DMT as a new way of elevating yourself.
Yeah.
Do you know they're always
Yeah.
like, "You've got to have it. It's so insightful." I'm like, seems like you didn't learn anything from it because you shouldn't be making someone feel less than that hasn't experienced something you have.
Mate,
Yeah.
that is
And I'm
such
like,
a
you
good point.
haven't taken the lesson, have you, cunt?
Yeah.
But I don't think it's worth. It's like you don't want to. I think Doug Stanhope said it. Like you don't want to realize that you're a rat in an experiment in a cage, and that's what drugs make you. They make you
Ignorance
acutely-
is bliss.
They make you aware that you're in an experiment, and then you're in the cage. But that's fucking not an insight. You know, if
Yeah.
you're a lab rat,
Yeah.
you don't want to know you're a lab
I think
rat.
it's just going to end up like,
Free drugs.
If I was to have
Yeah,
it,
maybe.
if I was to have it, it's just going to make me realize what I already understand is that we're in a bit of a game. Life's a game. Just enjoy it. Just play like we talk about the video game. Like,
Dude, 100%
If
it's
you
a
were a
joke.
character in a video game, you just try and up yourself and make yourself the best character you can, and you'd be willing to go through I think. You pay Age of Empires. You're willing to wait those 4 weeks for that crop to grow.
dude, 100%.
Because it's a video game. You're like, that's what I got to do for that character
It's
to
a
evolve.
platform
But
game.
because you're experiencing it right now, you don't want to have that. But if it's just a game, just fucking have the most fun you possibly
100%.
can.
It's like a platform game, and you keep bursting into tears
Yeah.
and not playing. Just keep fucking resetting it,
Yeah.
and get the thing right.
Well, I think the Rogan's quote was quite good, where it's like, just imagine your life's a movie, and right now, today,
Yeah.
is you're in the shit part of the movie, and then you're working your way.
Yeah,
you're the
yeah.
hero's journey.
And I
so
was sort of
right
talking
now
to
is
the-
that fucking you're the loser.
Yeah.
Talking to that divorce guy, but it's like pain is knowledge, suffering is knowledge. Like
Yeah.
to know thyself, you have to go through trauma. So it's almost like if you really want to become one of the greats, you should not even be chasing happiness ever. You should be pushing yourself into the most traumatic experiences. And then when you come to leave this world, they go, fuck, he had more insight than any person I've ever met because all he did was just experience the worst.
It's like Goggins.
and come to know that he was still existing.
Yeah.
Because there's no elevated existence. You're always alive. So, you've had money, had other things, but nothing ever changed.
Yeah.
Just the way people viewed me changed.
It always seems
depending
to
on my
come back.
status.
It always seems to come back to a form of like Gnosticism, where you're sort of like everything is within.
Yeah.
I think all of like everyone comes to that realization.
I think
Every single one.
you spoke about the resonance. I think it's just laugh. That's the whole thing's a joke.
Yeah, Delby
No,
often
you know how
says
you
it
have
like
that
just
hysterical
don't
laugh
take-
where you hit the table and you're just laughing?
Yeah.
That is the resonance of what existence is. Nothing means anything. Even when you think of, like, I was thinking of sport, you have to win by taking someone else's dream.
Yeah.
Like, there's nastiness to everything, but none of it really matters.
That's what
That's true.
I get that exact feeling when I watch the AFL Grand Final. And you watch
Yeah.
the elation and the agony. Like
Yeah.
you
And
see,
think-
they are having the greatest day of their life, and you're
While
watching.
the other one's having the worst.
That's
and
what
you
I'm saying.
feel almost bad for them, but you're like, this is what I would look at it like, fuck, this is my driving point.
Dude, and that's
but
the thing.
then I start to go, that's what they've got to be thinking like. You
Yeah.
know? But-
Dude, and that's the thing. Then you realize that so you go, they've won, and then it's actually a weakness because they're celebrating their ego. Oh, I'm better than
Yeah.
them. But then you realize they're better. The losers, if they take the lesson, have had a better experience than having their dick sucked for 10 years
Yeah.
as the medal winners, getting the humility and getting to know those. So the loser actually won.
But
That's what you don't realize
as
because
well.
then they reflected in on themselves and they
grew
didn't, they
from it.
didn't get their dream. And if they process that pain in the right way, they're a better man than the winner
Which
who
is-
just got his dream.
Which is
too
what
easy.
some of the Collingwood boys had that day from when Eagles beat them.
Yeah.
Use that as a
5
drive.
years later, like the Goeies, all those boys, they've done exactly what you
Dude,
said.
and they're
so
pick-
even though they've won, it's because of
Isn't that
when
what
they lost.
Isn't that the Hawthorn Geelong curse as well?
Dude.
So they lost that grand final, and then he said, "Well, I'm not feeling this again," and
Yeah.
they fucking
Dude, but imagine
Yeah.
imagine that. That's always because you want the hero's arc,
Hero's journey, yeah.
But the one that actually wins is they lose it and never win it.
because they're constantly.
That's
need
that's
it.
the
Well,
truth.
you have to come to
no,
terms
but I'm
with
saying
being
to you,
a-
when you're 80 and you sit down to
Like
talk
Nick
to that
Rewalt.
guy that got injured and then didn't get to play the final, never got to do it. See who has more grace as a human being.
like Nick Rewalt.
Or versus the guy that was versus the guy that had to learn humility.
Well, we talk-
at 80 years old, sit down with the both, and I bet you the guy, like Rewald or what you're saying, has more humanity in him.
Yeah. Well, me and you have had that conversation about what if we're not the ones who are success.
Yeah, what if I'm raising
What
Hitler,
if I'm?
dude?
Yeah. What if I'm? Yeah. But what if I'm the lesson for my kid? And what if that's got to be good enough for me?
Well,
Maybe,
I
like-
think that you're not raising Hitler. From what you said earlier, I think you are Hitler. You want to march on Asia?
Yeah, dude, it is interesting, eh? And then,
and are you fine with that? I think you have to be fine with that. You have to be fine with if you come back to that.
Well, you have no choice because it is what it is. You
Yeah,
have-
if you come back to that sort of mindset that I definitely have, and I think you both have, that we're all one and connected in some sort of way, that we're all just lessons for the next person.
Yeah, and it's just,
what does it matter? It's just I was that part of that lesson for the next
It would
person.
be nice to enjoy it though while you're here.
different.
100%, and I think that's the part of the game. That's the like, well, fuck, have the good time while you can. Like I love to be disciplined. I love to work hard, but there's room for play, and you have to
Dude.
enjoy it and have a bit of a lightheartedness to life. Because if it's not, what's the fucking point?
And yeah, you're giving like the central bank different camera angles and perspectives of life permutations of what's possible.
Yeah.
But then you also think about it like, you know, you go over to Adelaide and you miss your kids a lot, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
so I'm resenting that, but I'm like,
I'm interested. How does that make you feel?
I'm like, maybe the ultimate outcome for me is to get on antidepressants and just go FIFO work and just accept my lumps and never perform again, dude. And then just have people going, I wish you would do it anymore. And you're like, nah, man, it's all right. I'm just going to make sure that, you know, that life's, do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
maybe that's the best
100%.
version of me. Because the other version,
you need to keep going.
the other version's touring around, you know, things get good, but maybe the best version of me is a humble guy in Inaloo at a duplex, living in a shithole,
Yeah.
getting the bus to and back to work and having just little box lunches and going, boys, let's go fishing.
And it sounds so uninspiring,
But-
but I totally get it. I think that, especially when you're aspiring for greatness and big things, you often go back to that, like, what if I did just get a 9 to
What-
5
what
job
if you-
and just lived out
what
my
if you
life.
just
You
actually-
can do both though. That's the thing. You
100%, 100%.
can still do stand up. It's just going to be on a lesser scale.
But I don't think. I mean, the point is not that he's not going to try and
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that.
But
It's just the
imagine
fact
how
that he
funny
could,
it is.
and it'd be like,
Because I didn't do a
that
show
would be
this
quite
year.
fun.
Don't you think it's the funnest? Like at the end of it all, how much you would burst into laughter if you just didn't do it. You
Yeah.
didn't get stand up.
As in,
No, well, you wanted it. You wanted it so
Well, that's
much.
the comedy of it,
I
isn't
think.
it?
I think the comedy of it all, the tragedy of that. I think on my deathbed, I'd probably be in tears laughing that nothing
Trying
came.
so hard.
That nothing came from comedy.
but it already has, bro. We've met each other. You've made
Yeah,
friendships.
yeah.
You've traveled
Yeah,
the world.
yeah.
You've got a lot from comedy. It's just that you want to be bigger than you are at the moment. But when you look at what you've achieved, you've done far more than me in comedy.
No, I haven't, man. You've been way better at marketing and selling. You've made way
but
more
at
money out of comedy
You've
than
opened
I
for
have.
Shane Gillis, Mark Norman, fucking Tim Dillon. Like anybody that comes here, you're the go-to person.
Dude, I know. I must say, like,
that's huge. I would fucking
the
froth
universe.
that.
You've got to have gratitude. Like I'm not thankful, and I take it for granted. But basically, I was lying in a back bedroom, and I contacted no one, and I got all those offerings just from the universe. Like
Yeah.
I didn't ask anyone for all those spots,
Which is good.
They
That's a
found
great
me,
sign.
and then when I opened for them, they all like we got on well, and I'm like, in a way, that proved that I would always. If in a different world, I might have been able to do stand up. And like, is that not enough? Just knowing in your heart, like you could have done it, but circumstances fucked you a bit.
But it's not finished for you. That's the thing.
Circumstances weren't to be, man.
I understand what you're saying. I know you're not going to give up, but I get what you.
No, but it's
premise
sort of
is
like the
getting-
sporting thing because like you had your injuries and stuff, and that is the truth of sport. The genetics are there, and you obviously there are a lot of people that have the talent, but that the strain to be in that top 1% will destroy a lot of people's bodies. So you think, oh, I got fucked, my knee, my back, but it's actually the intensity to be in that top 100.
It has to
You
happen.
have to push, and
Yeah.
what 90% of people bodies will give way because it's actually running the steam train too hard.
I think it's a very healthy way to look at it. Like
Yeah,
the
and-
fact that you want greatness, but also the knowing that you don't.
No, but
need it.
you know, in the sporting thing, being more pragmatic,
probably will be-
pragmatic about it, and you go, I got fucked. If my knee hadn't fucked up, it's like, nah, dude. To run at that pace, to keep up with talent like that, I did it in my 16, 17, 18. But unfortunately, my DNA and biology, I just didn't have strong enough knees to run.
Yeah.
The car didn't have enough rubber on the wheels
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
But you got to come to terms with that. But at the same time, like, you don't need to come to terms with your career being over, man. You've still got a massive trajectory up.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think you are. That's not.
Dude, I'm actually close to just like really. I've been like, especially after the stocks had a little falter. I'm like,
You're placing your
Isn't it funny
external
that-
happiness on.
No, but I'm
something,
saying
bro.
I'm so close to fucking doing what Corey did
and just stepping
and
away.
just fucking walking off from all of it.
You should
I'm
do that with
almost
stocks
there,
and
dude.
not for comedy, though.
I'm tempted, man. I'm starting to get tempted. I look over the fence and I'm like, fuck, if I just get some dead shit job and no one knows where you're at, right? You can have a mortgage, you can rent. Everyone thinks they're getting better than others. You can get a higher purchase car. I could, within 6 months, convince someone that my life was okay again.
But-
if I got a dead end job.
I
But
think
you
for
need to
me-
just convince yourself.
Well, for me, that is the ultimate test. At the lowest point or the most tempting point to just walk away is how much do you want it, and then go, no, I set out to do this, I want this, and I think that's when you do get it.
That's when you get
I
it,
think
dude.
that's when you're like, I pushed through, and then fuck, your success might be 200 seaters.
Oh,
Fuck,
dude.
if you get to do 200 seaters for the rest of your life and you have a legacy of I did 200 seaters
Oh,
for the rest
dude,
of my life, I
like,
was a comedian, that's a
awesome.
success. That's
Seeing
great.
Amos's level, like with a great house in Adelaide, touring for Jam, and he, obviously he'll go on to bigger things, but I'm like,
But also
fuck,
Amos-
I'd be happy with his level.
How does your kids?
But he doesn't have kids.
But I was going to say, how does that
His-
factor in? Because for me, it
Well, that's
it
the thing.
factors
That's
in,
the big
hey.
risk, right? Because you got James McCann who's killing it with Gillis, but then also,
Is he?
dude, he opened at Radio City. He's fucking. I see
Fuck
him. I
off.
see him in Central Park, and they got a blanket.
He's
Him and
homeless.
Gillis. No, him and Gillis on a horse and carriage, having little fucking gay beers together, or maybe whatever. But I'm like, the risk he's taken because
Yeah.
he's taken his family there.
Yeah.
I was saying it's sort of like the equivalent of like Michael Jackson when he dangled his babies out the side of the window to get bookings. No, whatever. I'm joking, James. But it's paying off, dude. And he fucking backed into the universe like a crazy man with his whole family with a gun to their head. And he's gone into the US thing. And I reckon it's going to work. You got to love it.
So I think you're probably at that point. I'm definitely at those having moments through, especially the last 6 months. You're like, what is it? What is it all? Like, why don't I just go get a job and be happy and fucking, when I say happy, be secure. Fuck it. Why don't I just do that? You constantly get that and then you push through it and then something really good happens for it. And I think that's...
No, you're 100%.
Probably there. You're probably just like, everyone goes through doubts.
And it's a lonely
Well, the
path.
Divorced Dads is going to be an Australian touring show.
Yeah, man. We're going to kill it.
It will. Shane Killett will call it.
Shane Kelly.
Like, Divorced Dads is a fucking...
It's a great show name.
Dude, imagine the show. So we just get... divorced guys in and they just basically cry for an hour.
I think what you're having is very healthy reflections.
Yeah.
That's really good. Like you look. I said it when you sat down. You look good, man.
Oh, dude, you know what
Have
the
you
thing
been
was?
working out or
Nah, the
or
thing was,
Things are going well.
I was storming in the stock market and then just things went absolute awry.
so it's
This is
Stress.
where you need to be careful because you're placing your external happiness onto that part of your life.
But it's actually answering a question that I needed answered, which is, you want. It is a lonely path, man. Not going conventional. That, you know what I mean? And you want that stability, and they've got that stability. And then they also will attack you. It's the same way when you quit booze, because you chasing a dream makes them maybe remember theirs. Do you know what I mean? And then they get angry with you and they go like, why do you get to just fucking come into this purple little shit room?
Yeah.
And they start to cast doubts in you. And that's what they forgot. They did that in their childhood and they eventually buried their dream out in the desert.
But you
How
need
many
to
people
shift-
have dreams, dude?
You got to shift your perspective though, because they don't matter.
And also, yeah,
Like
this is
it's
the thing. 'cause-
you. If you have to go, am I happy with what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Is this
100%.
fulfilling me, or is it fucking ruining me?
And then you
that's
know what you
where-
think? I'm going to get vindictive and you're like, let me get
Yeah.
a suit back and I'll fuck you up back in a corporate setting.
Yeah.
And then you're like, but that won't make you happy, man.
No.
Because I've had that house before and it's like a fucking adult dollhouse, man. Do you remember your house, like you own it and you're like, this
Yeah.
is just what girls like putting, I don't give a shit. I think guys would live in a cave, man.
See, and
Don't you
this
think?
is
We
the
don't
thing-
want cushions.
And that's the thing. I
Do you
think-
want cushions?
I think like
comfy ones for my neck.
Oh,
and
actually,
back,
I don't
but
mind. I don't mind a
Oh,
cushion.
throw rugs. I can go
And it's
without a
quite
throw
nice
rug.
to get some of those little figurines.
I can go without a throw rug. Or candles. I don't need candles.
There's nothing nicer than a fresh bouquet of flowers at the front of the house.
I don't need candles or throw rugs or
Oh, and I
fucking that
don't
shit.
mind 400 count sheets. Oh, and if you get a little bath mat,
But
it's quite cool.
You just brought it up though, Delby, like worrying about what other people think. I think
Yeah,
that's
it doesn't matter
I
what they
think
think.
the ultimate form of fulfillment is only worrying about yourself and like self-development. And that sounds selfish, but I think if there was I truly believe if there was a society that worked harmoniously with each other, but only worked within and worked on themselves and worried about what they were doing or what they can control, which is them. That's all they can control. It'd be a far more harmonious society. There'd be less whinging. You wouldn't have anyone fucking trying to cancel each other. You can still be conscious of the people around you. It doesn't mean you have to worry about what anyone else thinks.
People they're only cancelling. Well, it gets the smaller the environment, the more competition is, the worse human beings behave.
Yeah,
don't you
sure.
think?
Yeah.
But I think that's why that basic wage, that basic
Universal wage.
removes all that fear of
Universal basic income.
universal basic income removes the fear.
But do you
of
think that's
being
a form
alive.
of control?
I'm torn on that because that destroys resilience.
Yeah, but guess what? Because people will naturally follow their dreams. But if they're actually scared, they will give up their dreams just to survive.
The only
But
issue I'd have
shouldn't
with
that be the ones that deserve it? The ones that are prepared to risk it, the ones that are.
I
Yeah, but
agree.
don't you
I
hate
agree.
being
You know?
alive? Don't you hate being alive and knowing that there's an abundance of resources and wealth, and there are people feeling in peril at all points while we're out sipping wines? There's families right now in Africa and stuff that are feeling in danger of existing tomorrow.
Yeah.
That doesn't
What
seem
can you do?
nice, man. But that's not human.
What
Like,
can you
we
do?
wanna-
What can you do here? We wouldn't even know they existed if technology wasn't
Nah,
real.
but you know what I'm saying? I'm saying like I just wish that there was a common courtesy to all.
Well, you can only focus on those around. If you take away technology and news and that, we wouldn't even know what was going on outside of our direct neighborhood. So if you can just be kind to yourself and the people around you, then
that's fair
you
enough.
can build a...
Yeah, and I think that when you say that, yeah, it goes back to that like a quality of outcome sort of idea. Giving someone equal opportunities. So providing the equal opportunities to the people around the world. We're very blessed that we've got the opportunities that we've got here. So you use that African
But you know
child,
how like you end
giving
up
them
in
an opportunity.
divorce and it gets bitter and it gets jealous, and it's because the transfer of hatred and meanness back. If you transfer kindness into people, like there are no monsters on this planet. If they're treated with respect and humanity, with the love and a compassion, a lot of the people that, you know, when you're in Northbridge or you're there and there's dangerous people around, that's become because they've been isolated from the group.
Yeah.
Totally
start to
diffuses a
attack
situation when you approach something with love, like an attack. If someone's yelling at you, if you seek understanding with them straight away, they're initially diffused.
And that's
they
the
start
question, dude.
To take a back step.
Is life about you getting the biggest house and winning the AFL Grand Final?
No.
Or is it about making the whole, all boats rise higher and make it a more loving world?
And I think that's
when you have the most fun.
Well, that's exactly.
And that's why
totally agree,
that basic way would achieve that.
And that's what it goes back to what I was talking about. Are we just a lesson for our kids? And am I okay with that? Yeah, I could be the lesson.
I think.
I mean, I'd love to, and I'll have as much fun along the way as I possibly can.
That's what I
enjoy
hope for,
the best
man. Hopefully it
experience that
doesn't
I
get
possibly
worse.
can.
I hope that, I reckon like 2 generations down will think we were fucking monsters.
Yeah.
And so cruel
But
to human beings.
Well, there's been 2 major world wars start in our lifetime. There's going to be more. Human nature is human nature.
yeah.
Well, that's the thing, dude.
Unless there's like unless we do a Hiroshima of DMT.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
and that's the
microdose
thing.
into
Not
the
even
water.
micro, just put a fucking atomic bomb full of DMT. Instead of a mushroom cloud, we have a magic mushroom cloud.
Dude.
And just put it over the whole place.
And that's where you've
and we're
come out,
sweet.
right? You've fallen off the rat race because you're doing your own way. And then you realize how quickly even people will forget about you once you're not doing the conventional
It means
thing.
nothing, doesn't it?
And then you realize, what is life, man? When you were running alongside, you had like a pacing crew, you're chatting and banter. But then when you moved into this less conventional field, you just forgotten. Dude.
I think that that's what I've realised recently, and this is another reason why I quickly last minute booked a trip over to see mum and dad. Like, you just have to enjoy yourself as much as possible. Like, fucking see the world. Do things that like scare you and experiences that you've never had before. Like fucking jump out of a bungee.
Blazing Swamp.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
exactly.
mate.
Just go do those things, because if I think if you experience life as much as it has to offer, that's having gratitude for what the universe gifted you. To have these opportunities and to not take them, that's a fucking slap in the face. That's these. You think about these poor kids in Africa that don't have the opportunity. For me to not take advantage of the opportunities I've been fucking gifted, that's a slap in the face.
And guess what the fallacy is? The kids in Africa are the happiest because they live in the moment and have gratitude. So the irony is they're happier than anyone in the
True.
West.
The less you have, the more joy you get.
You know why? Because you start to have to survive, right? So you rebuild community.
Yeah.
You gather as a group in the refugee camp. You start to you all hug together at night to keep warm. And that's where everything is.
Well,
that's where love is, and that's
nothing.
where the human is.
Yeah.
This shit with kids in different bedrooms, that's my lamp, that's my switch. You're creating a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
A monster.
Yeah. When you have nothing, imagine that we're camping, right? All of a sudden we've got none of this shit and you lose your water. Do you know how fucking happy you are when you find clean water?
Mate.
Yeah.
Like, that's joy.
Yeah, contextual.
You know
If
when
you're
you wait-
hungry and you find food, like,
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
strip it back.
If you haven't eaten, that meal's the tastiest
the
thing
best.
ever, and you don't realize that by denying yourself. And that's why I was saying, pain and suffering is knowledge, and it's the best version of yourself. The weird thing is, the further you can go into the dark, the lighter you become as a human being.
And that's that, even that point of the finiteness of existence. You know, no one wants to die, but if you didn't have that sort of that
fear of death.
yeah, that fear,
Dude,
like
imagine-
the limited time we have, you'd
go
waste
crazy.
it. Yeah.
But imagine if you live for infinity afterwards, the lesson you learn by losing the AFL Grand Final and never winning it, the lesson of humility and not being driven by ego, that services you better over infinite time than you doing press junkets and feeling like the big dog.
I've been often
Around
thinking
other
about
people.
things that I've been posting and putting on stories, and sometimes looking back on it the next morning going, why did I post that? Like that was specifically to get people's attention or whatever, or maybe an ego serving sort of thing, or end up like why do I have to do anything? Why can't I just sit back and just enjoy that?
Dude, imagine, and then you become like, you know what I mean? Like the guru. The guru has to know, you know, you even see like sort of with the cancelling and people, they flare up, not specific example, but you know, when they lash out, it's just a lack of control of your emotions. You shouldn't actually be reacting to a Karen. You should actually pity her.
Yeah.
But instead you react in anger, and all she's doing, it's a lesson that you refuse to be taught.
Well, that's compassion
You
and
should
love,
have
isn't it?
compassion and go, I'm sorry that you didn't enjoy the show.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry
your
that
life's a
you've
toilet.
lived in a life where you think you should impose your tastes on all of us.
Yeah.
And I hope that you can find the growth
Yeah.
to move beyond that.
Dude, if
Karen.
you said that at a show, that would crush.
Yeah. I hope that
Like
you
if
find
somebody
it in your
gets
heart
offended and you said that, everyone would go,
to allow other people to live their life and their terms while you're alive. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to turn off other people's music.
Well, I think
'cause
you
don't
can
like
find
it.
compassion for
Yeah.
anything, and
That's
it's
a good
really
saying.
difficult to do that. Like to find, like I don't know, an abusive parent or something like that. Instead of like holding a grudge against them for the rest of your life, do you go, well, what happened to you when you were a kid?
Yeah, and forgive them, man.
Yeah, and just
it's like when you have kids, you realize all your weaknesses because they're like a psychological test of your patience, your anger. You know how good you are. Have you ever done it? I haven't done it. Where something bad happens and you don't react.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? As in you don't react angry or sad. Like imagine the control when something actually happened and you should go, shut up, fucking, and you just don't.
Oh yeah.
That's like elevated thinking, right? That's where you want to be.
it's hard to do.
So
Well, you
if
don't let anyone transfer their energy into you, and you don't let circumstance change your goal. Because I was saying it to Amos, and I'm like, dude, you get caught up dealing with this fuckhead that's trying to get you cancelled. They've just taken your processor that should be writing comedy and bits to dealing with their shit life, their virus. I'm like, you're meant to be funny. You're not meant to be arguing with some dead shit on the internet.
This happened to me the other day. Someone sent me a message. It made me quite angry. The message, I can't remember the actual context of the message, but I remember like trying to, verbalize a response that just sounded nice, but let them know I know like you. This is why I'm thinking this. And then I thought, why do I need to do that? That's only for me.
Yeah.
Just like
I'll tell
It's
you what.
you. It's you projecting your own
they're
ego.
clearly upset about something, and I just let them say, I'm sorry.
Guess
for
what
that.
you do? You do like the Jedi mind
It was
trick.
really hard. I really wanted to let them know that like
I've got a perfect
It's like one of the
example.
great moves that I do when I get angry with someone, and you write the response and then delete it.
I did that the other day.
It's
Did ya?
powerful, dude.
Yeah.
Is that what we're going to see?
Yeah.
It's a powerful move.
Yeah.
You write your
I'll
retort,
bring it up.
and then you delete it, and you sort of quench your ego and your anger.
Yeah. Well,
and you don't allow them to change your biology.
And I was so happy I didn't respond to that, because I also later found out in context there was other stuff going on with that person. I was like, they're really upset about something.
Yeah, 100%, dude.
they're just
and they're projecting, and it's like
it's
that
not just
move.
me they're doing
It's
that
like
to.
it's like the
Yeah.
ultimate move with the ultimate parenting move is when instead of you get home late and instead of saying they're angry, they say I'm disappointed.
Yeah. Like mine and
Because
Steph's,
the reaction is not what you expect.
mine and Steph's communication's become very good.
Really?
Like over the last probably 3 to 6 months, really good. And I don't like, and we've spoken about this, I don't like to go into our relationship too much, but our communication, even if something like there might be a mild disagreement, and then we go, no, sorry, I didn't mean that.
Oh
And
my
then
God,
and it's
dude. I've done that
turned-
with my ex now as well.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'll flare up, but I didn't before. And now I go, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
I went that was too much.
Yeah, and I think it's almost acknowledging your own emotional responses and going, "Fuck, I'm."
Yeah, I felt triggered. There's a lot
defending
going
myself
on with
there.
the shares
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. That was an overreaction.
I had a chick post on her story. I've never spoke to her before. She's DM'd me and she won a quiz that I ran during COVID.
Oh, yeah.
And then she asked me for like $250 or something from the prize. I was like, what? Here's the prize. Like, there's the code.
Yeah.
And then she randomly asked me, she tried to shit on me about doing stand-up for Teacher Comedy Night or
Yeah.
something. So she wanted to get into it. So I said, hey, try this over my dinner. Then she messaged me asking me for free tickets to my show. I just left her on red. I've never met this person.
Yeah.
She posts in her story, half pissed but being honest in a selfie, don't waste time or money on @Daniel Delby, brackets, he's a bit of an arsehole. Go see David Callan instead. So Dave Callan messaged me, goes, do you know this chick? I said, fucking never seen her before in my life.
I agree with her.
And I was like, what the fuck, cunt? Like, she hasn't been to my shows.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck are you to tag me in this shit?
Yeah.
An arsehole because I didn't give you free tickets, you cunt.
Yeah, okay.
Like, fucking, I don't owe you anything, you fucking retard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
did you
Right?
not respond to her?
So I went
Don't
to write.
respond to
I
her,
asked
dude.
Cam McLaren because Dave Callan's like, gee, what's going on here? I go, I don't even know it.
Which with David?
David
Yeah.
Callan. And I started to write, when you sober up, maybe have a think about what your page stands for because it's ADHD inclusivity, saying inclusiveness. And I said inclusivity and what you posted about me for no reason other than not receiving free tickets to my job that I rely on. Pretty average by you. And Cam McLaren was like, yeah, that's fucking good. And I was like, oh, don't know if I should fucking send it, man.
Well, there's nothing too mean in
what's-
that. It's
yeah,
just,
but- What's it gonna achieve?
Yeah.
I'm
What's it gonna
what-
achieve?
what,
guess what it's going to achieve?
Okay,
It's
I
going to
don't
give
know.
her what she's been chasing, your
Exactly.
attention.
I was
Exactly.
just about to say that's like from a compassionate side of view. I'm thinking, what's wrong with her? What's she trying to do? Why is she trying to get
She
attention?
wanted my attention.
What is she?
Dude, it's the kid.
And you have to
look
feel
at me,
sorry.
Mum, look at mine. And she's escalated it, and then
Yep.
and guess what you did?
I didn't reply.
Yeah, if you did, you've finally taken
Because
the bait.
even if you respond like, I
had
really
so
don't
much.
understand why this is happening, like from that compassion, you still, it would almost come across as this like, I'm better than you. That's how it would,
Yeah.
And that's how it always seems to come across. It's hard to not come across that way when you come at a conflict with
Dude, 100%. Imagine.
So sometimes
It was
best
about.
to just leave it.
Literally, it was about fucking 30 minutes of writing different
Ah,
responses. And
dude.
Cam McLaren going, "Oh yeah, that's fucking brilliant." And I was like, "Yeah, And then I was like, ultimately, she wants my attention.
Now, how did that make you
because-
feel?
And I think she
you
said,
felt good because you modulated your behavior.
Did you, or did you feel frustrated?
One of the things she said was, "You didn't match me on Tinder or something as well." So I was like, obviously, she's got a crush. She's feeling fucking hurt. She wants my
Rejected,
attention.
angry, yeah.
So I just went,
Or is this
delete, block, ban.
Oh, dude, this
Done.
is the
Now,
hottest move of all time.
is
Delete
this-
block
what-
is all you should ever do with
Is-
any negative engagement.
yeah.
Is this her clever way of standing out, though? No, just
Yeah,
playing
she's
devil's
negative.
What,
advocate.
by telling people not to buy tickets to my show
Yeah,
and
but-
calling me an asshole?
But maybe this is a clever way of
Yeah,
flirting.
but, dude, it's
No.
like a monkey in a cage. It's the tantrum. It
it's
escalates.
her being hurt and expressing.
No,
Well,
no,
you
but-
don't know that.
No, but it's also like she hasn't dealt. She needs an outlet.
Yeah.
She needs a
Yeah.
dopamine hit. She feels lonely. She feels sad. She thought you might be the boy.
Yeah, I don't even
and
know.
then she didn't get what
I
she
haven't
wanted. And
spoken to
guess
this
what she
person
did?
ever or ever
Yeah.
met her.
Because
So-
she's had privilege and easy life.
Yeah.
She had a tantrum because
Yeah.
daddy didn't give me my switch.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you don't get that shit in Somalia. I tell you this shit.
Oh, ironically, she was Somalian. No,
Oh, really? No, but you know what I'm saying?
But,
So I just deleted and blocked, and
think
I
that's
was
good.
like, after 45 minutes of like being, who the fuck does this cunt think she is? I was like, she is not getting anything from me.
yeah.
Dude,
So
imagine.
she misses everything.
She sort of already got it.
No, this is just us.
Dude,
I
Let's
know,
talk
but
about-
as in she already got it.
Dude, but
Like-
this
But she wanted me to engage
I know,
so she could talk
but
back. So
I mean,
she
as
didn't
in-
get my direct.
This is
yeah,
the beating
yeah.
heart
But
of privilege.
I mean,
Yeah.
your energy for half an hour.
Dude, that's
was
what I say
there.
to my kids. I
Yeah,
go
but
like,
it was all negative, and
Yeah, I know.
was like, I'm
But-
gonna blow this
I
negative
know, but
energy.
I'm more mean. She,
Yeah, dude,
regardless
I
of
say
whether
that.
she seen it or not, you did it.
That's
First,
what I say,
you
but-
wrote it
but
all out.
she wanted me.
I know,
She
I know.
wanted a message from Daniel Delby.
Yeah, I know,
and
but
she
you're
didn't
talking
get
about.
that.
I'm
No,
talking
no,
about. She did get it.
she
So
won-
she didn't get that. She got your energy.
Delby,
you did
because
that.
I
Do you know what I
say
mean?
to
Yeah,
my
but that's
kids,
not what she wanted.
I say to my
I know-
kids
I
all
know-
the time.
I'm not saying that's what she wanted.
Her goal
I'm
wasn't
saying-
to fucking.
I'm
Her
saying
goal was to get me to reach out to her.
I know,
and
but
she didn't get it.
Your energy was still expelled.
That's fine. That was a lesson I
Yeah,
needed.
that's what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah,
So I'm not
listen
talking
to
about
this,
her. I'm
Delby.
talking about you now. So
but
like,
I needed that.
so what do you do now going forward? Do you reckon that's your lesson and go?
Yeah, because I learnt from Reed, the trans chick.
Yeah.
that as soon as you reply, it fucking gets
And-
worse for you.
Dude,
And
I
that's
think-
where I was just about to link that and go,
Yeah.
what did you learn
So it was
there?
my losing grand final where I took that.
No, and I
lesson
said it.
into
I
here.
say to my kids, I'm like, the game is transferring the energy. They try to transfer sadness and anger. All you should ever put into another person, happiness
Yeah.
and laughter and
calm.
joy.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I said,
No
you
calm?
just lost. So they'll have a fight and they go, yeah, he just transferred his anger into you.
Yeah.
And I go, why'd you let him?
Yes.
Control your fucking mind.
Put your guard up.
So-
And they control your mind.
So the lesson now
Yeah.
is, so you still let it get to you to a point. So now I guess the next level is, that's
No.
straight away go, that's someone.
No, you should
Nah,
feel.
I like
you feel
to feel.
pity.
You need to feel.
Dude, you know what? You should.
I'm not going to rob myself of that emotion.
but you know what you
It's
should
not
feel?
Pity.
You should feel
Yes.
sad.
I
for
did
it.
feel pity.
And go, what a.
So that's not feeling, that's, you don't have to feel negative. You don't have to feel anger, and you're not robbing yourself of an emotion. Feeling compassion and going,
No, dude.
fuck, this poor.
I still think
that-
she's a fucking loser.
The
Yeah, of course.
the
I'm like,
best
I feel
reaction,
sorry
the
for her.
best reaction if you're at the high is to feel embarrassed and burst into laughter.
Yeah.
That's when you truly know what she is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
You know what I mean?
embarrassing.
If
It
you're
was actually
assessing
embarrassing
what
for
she
her.
is,
That's-
you would. You
yeah.
should
That's
howl.
joy, or not
When-
joy, but yeah.
No, but I'm saying if I read that, I would laugh.
Yeah.
Because she's such a loser.
Yeah.
It is embarrassing for her to post that publicly.
What a weak
Because
loser.
think what everyone else is thinking. Like,
Everyone knows what she is, and then I would be like, she's actually humiliated.
But that goes back
herself.
to
Yeah.
again, like she's clearly not this elevated, but that goes back to what we talked about before. Who cares what everyone else thinks?
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
no one cares.
well,
all I want is
I do
money,
when,
man.
when it affects my ticket sales.
What all we really care about is money, man. We talk about all emotions, but I just want a fucking big bank
Yeah.
account. Eh?
And
And,
this-
that's what I'm actually working on. We're like, what's my dream? Well, how do I get the richest, the quickest?
Well,
That's
that-
really what we're fucking dealing with. And I'm like, I think in comedy, I put enough time into it. I'm like, maybe fucking back in that shit corporate shit I
Yeah.
used to do. At least you're guaranteed elevation if you put time into that.
Yeah. Well, this is what it just goes back to something I mentioned with Nina the other day, that balance between ego and like sort of trusting your gut and that sort of inner guidance and that intuition. So you know deep down that you shouldn't be reacting, but there should be a balance between like, yeah, she's going to affect my ticket sales. So how do I navigate this situation in the
I
best
can't
possible
remember
way?
who we were speaking to, but when you don't react or you don't live that emotion, that's not healthy, man. You need to,
Nah.
you need to feel. You need to feel.
Yeah,
Your
you need to
emotions are like
feel-
a out of control monkey, and then what happens is that monkey bites you, and then your monkey comes off its lead.
Yeah.
You got to keep this fucking thing down. You decide all decisions, all moves.
Yeah, so-
nothing out external should change your idea of yourself.
Well,
Yeah.
who was I speaking? It
So
might have
it's
been my
not-
mum. It was like you're robbing yourself of feeling sad. Like you're allowed to feel sad.
Yeah, so
Whereas
it's
I
not
was just not doing that.
So it's not, you don't want to feel anger through what she said because that's letting someone else dictate how you feel.
No, but
so
imagine-
what you want to go is like, this fucking idiot, like this is how she's feeling.
Yeah.
This
But
is
who's
this
saying
has
that,
no saving.
Who's saying that anger's a bad emotion?
No, it's fair enough. But what we're saying is like there's millions.
I understand
well,
exactly
no,
what you're
anger,
saying.
anger based on what someone else thinks is a bad
The
emotion.
focus is
Anger
the-
on something that maybe you're like, maybe
I was
like,
just angry that she chose
No, I
to
agree.
tag me, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
But-
and then after the anger, I was like, "Oh, I
and
feel
that's
sorry for it."
perfect. So
Yeah, that's
what's
a great thing because it's like that morning anger.
Yeah.
This you go through.
Because if you
emotions.
stay in anger, then yeah, you're
Exactly.
fucked. But if you're angry and then go, "Oh, hang on a sec,"
But then
I'm
what-
not going to react.
Reflection,
'cause-
yes.
But how are you going to get your goals and dreams? Because you're going to have millions of these, and the focus is getting what you want in this world.
Yeah.
And getting you into the state and you feeling how you want to feel at all points. Do you know what I mean? But if you keep getting random things distracting you,
This is part of
you're
the
just
life,
lowering
yeah.
you're lowering your
Delete
chance of
block.
getting success.
delete block.
Yeah, delete block is what you always do. Bang, bang.
So that's,
Doesn't
I think
exist.
you worded that perfectly before. You said, quickly went, what the fuck? Actually, no, reflect. Don't need to give her anything.
Yeah,
Bang.
we were splitting hairs here. He
Yeah.
only reacted for 1 second. Which
Yeah.
probably you've got to be a fucking monk.
So the fact
he's
that-
like,
Exactly.
you know, to not be annoyed by someone
Exactly,
intruding
yeah.
your space,
And that's
It's
that
like-
balance between ego I was
It's
talking
like
about
even
before.
just someone, you know, like intruding in,
Yeah.
you know, like if you're sitting in a car and then looks in the window, like there's a first moment, fuck off, cunt. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like the natural reaction.
So it's the initial of like, oh, what the fuck, but don't react.
Yeah.
And then use your best sort of way to navigate forward.
I don't
Which
know.
was, I'm not giving this person my energy.
delete block.
You spent 45 minutes writing text. That's
Dude, and
that's wasted your energy. So the next one
But
is
it was
like,
cathartic.
I've got to
as well.
go soon, guys.
Yeah.
But it's a result
Let's
of
wrap
our
it up in a
money.
sec. Yeah.
We don't have enough money. Like, your life gets harder the poorer you are. If you're
Yeah.
really rich, you don't have these contacts. Like, Shane Gillis is famous, so like he doesn't even probably check his social media anymore. Do you know what I mean? And he doesn't get trapped on the bus with some fuckhead because he's in a limo.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's because we're living in a harder world because we're struggling to try and get our dream. But, you know, having had a little bit of money before, you had less bad days, dude. Because you know what? Everything was fucking bought around.
Well,
do you know what I mean? Like,
know
you wouldn't
when-
have to go to the shitter coffee place and go, "It's fucking burnt the beans again."
Yeah.
You went to the best one.
Yeah.
And then you're like, the world's easy here.
Yeah.
I know what you're going to say, but when I get the lots of dollars,
Yeah.
I'll drag you two along. But
Oh, you gotta help
only if you
us.
two drag me two along, and you're
No,
going to
no,
go,
I'll
fuck
drag
you, I'll
you."
leave you.
Dude,
Well, Divorced Dads is the key.
I'll
We're gonna
take
tour it.
Divorce Dads will be
Yeah.
a great pod, man.
And a show.
But I
We'll do the Astor. We'll do the Astor Divorced Dad show.
Money-
That'll
You know-
sell immediately.
It's done.
But dude, my
It is
dream
said and it is done.
We're on. But my dream is, I'm like, I don't know what to do with the money because I've been talking to other comics. I'm like, surely money doesn't work on me anymore. Wouldn't it be good to just live basic?
Yeah.
Even if you made it.
That's where I'm at the moment, but it's still like, let
Yeah.
me tell you.
And you-
let me
this
tell
is
you,
my
money
dream. It's
doesn't buy happiness, but
imagine if you had
help.
just a ton of money.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit like Gillis, it's a bit like that. Because Joe Rogan was like, "Don't you want to get a backyard?" He goes, "No."
so
And they go like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I like to get drunk, play video games, and do stand-up comedy. I don't give a shit about anything else." And they go like, "Surely you want to have like a little garden to kick around?" "I like to play Xbox, FIFA, and this, get drunk and do stand-up comedy.
Well, even
I
though-
lie at home with a hangover, play video games, and then do stand-up. That's
love
all I
it.
want for
Yeah.
life.
Well, even-
I'm never changing these shoes, top, or anything.
Happy.
Fuck you."
It
And I'm
seems to
like,
be-
he's a master.
it seems to be the greats. They all they graduate to the theatres, and then they all go, "No, I want to go back to the store and do that grimy little 150 seater." Like,
Yeah.
it's always seems to be the case, but it's only because they've gotten to the point where they've got the theatres, they've got the recognition, and they don't need it all. And now they
'Cause
well,
you go
I want to go
grind
back to
again.
what was fun, which was initially back where you are right now. 'Cause you're already there.
Yeah.
You're already in the fun.
Oh, the stress,
But
because
you
it
got
is
the
pretty
money.
cool because like
You got the freedom.
we'll be able, you know, I'll be able to say to my kids, "Yeah, I hung out at Amos's house," and they'll be like, "Well, he doesn't follow you on Instagram." Well, you're fucking famous. cunt. Why would you? It's embarrassing, dude.
I wanted to do a pod today where we came in and created our own sayings to see if we could pick which one was the one we made and which one was authentic. But listening throughout the pod, Wolfie's created 3 of his own sayings.
Which is?
You can't turn other people's music down, which I thought was beautiful. When he goes, Karen's complaining, he goes, you can't just turn someone else's music down because you don't like it.
That's fucking awesome.
When you run into the darkness, you are the light.
Yeah.
And then
You
the third
become the
one,
light.
Yeah. And the third one was
Something like that. What did I say when you run into the darkness?
You are the light. Yeah. You become the light.
Yeah.
You've been watching our
No,
clips.
but dude, that summarized my whole thing that pain is knowledge.
And the poorer you are, the harder life gets.
No one ever likes my one that pain is knowledge.
Yeah, it's
Or
true.
Pain is knowledge.
The only way you can learn is pain.
I'm
There is
clipping that up.
pain is knowledge.
Yeah.
It's everything knowable in this universe. You learn fuck all from happiness.
It's true.
It's an indulgence.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's great.
It's a reward.
You can appreciate it.
Yeah,
makes-
but
it makes
it's
pain-
like it's the froth at the top of the cappuccino, man.
Yeah.
All the beans, all the shit happens in the
happy
darkness.
happy tuna.
And it's better summed up when you run into the dark, you become the light.
Yeah. That's good.
Oh, that's decent. I riffed that. Put it in the book. There was some dogness I forget dogmas or dogness.
Dogma?
You know the philosopher that was just a homeless guy that used to just jack off.
Yeah, he
Alan
lived in
Watts.
And he lived like
In
he lived
shit
with
or
the
something?
dogs and just
Yeah.
straps, and he would just masturbate all day. And I think one of the great leaders came to him and said,
That was Louis C.K., I think.
"Yeah, it was Louis C.K." And he said, "You're one of the great minds. I'll give you anything. I'm going to grant you anything you want in this world." And he said, "Move out of my sunlight." That's it. He leans over and he says, "Move out of my sunlight." That's all he asked
Simple.
for. And I'm like, That's where the answer lies. Hard yarners.
And with that,
That's a good episode.
It is said and it is done.
It is said, it is done. That was a great episode. Delby, you want to plug anything?
Teacher Comedy Night, about 150 tickets left, 760 sold.
Mate, I am...
That's
12th.
fucking amazing. 760 tickets.
Yeah.
I'm...
Woo,
I am
mama.
so proud of you.
Dude, that's huge sales.
Yeah, it's good.
By anyone's standards.
I know, it's awesome, bro.
Mama. And that's just in Perth. You can do that in every city.
I know.
Then you can be rich.
I know.
Fuck, let's get divorced dads going.
I'm telling you, bro.
Divorce Dad's Asta is a fucking good idea.
100% it is.
All materials about the divorce, and it's from both sides, right? Because everyone's suffering in a divorce.
Yeah.
It'd be fine to have a chick on, a divorced mum.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
not-
You just
not
frame
really.
it divorce dads and you go, what?
It's a bit
Fuck,
like
what?
having me on the
it's great.
motherhood, dude. It's like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? It's like bringing the guy along to the
But you
Tupperware
didn't,
night.
you didn't want to do the choreographed stuff, right?
I wouldn't do it. But you know, it's like having a lingerie party and you bring your husband. We're trying on G-strings into massive asses.
What are we going to plug? We're going to plug Divorced Dad's pod coming up and the trial show.
Yeah.
Cool.
The show might be a pod. It'd be pretty good to get like more prominent divorcees in and just interview them.
We'll do it.
And just riff on stage.
Cool. If you drive the pod side, I'll drive the
Okay, I'll
marketing
do it.
side.
And we'll just, I'll have to take down some of this shit to get the divorced dad signs up.
Yeah.
We'll get a...
Well, you get a screen.
You'd be all right, dude. Most of the screws off.
yeah,
just
we'll
get
get
a screen.
we'll get a screen.
Oh, should we get a slide-in screen?
We'll get a
Literally just get a screen, bro.
We'll get a like a what do you call it?
Blind.
Blind. And it
What
pulls-
should be the
pulls
divorce
down
dog?
over
What's
the
that
top.
footy star that got caught trying to dry hump a dog? Should that be the logo? No,
that?
I don't know. I don't know why I said that. We'll have to work on this. So that's not going to work.
The logo. That
Delby?
would just be a dad with empty pockets. Like
Oh,
a stick man with the pockets
divorced
out.
dad.
Yeah. Like,
Acting comical.
yeah. Or like pockets out.
Oh, where's this?
Or just a man cut in half because 50%'s been taken.
Divorce dad
that's good.
jokes.
Divorced dad just locked outside a house
Yeah.
and the kids are in there with the mum, sitting by
No, dad's in the car.
Yeah, dad's in the car with a little drone flying around.
And Patreon. We'll plug Patreon.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I'm
So-
interviewing mum in a couple of days over in
Beautiful.
Thailand. So that should be fun. Anything I want to plug? Probably not. Oh,
Cool.
no.
Jump
That's
on
it.
the Patreon. All right.
All right.
Peace.